You have a TV?
No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. You don't need a TV.
Television addict! Television addict! Television addict!
Hello, happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Ken Reed, your TV guidance counselor, here with yet another episode of TV Guidance Counselor. I know I sounded a little bit weary there. I was like, yet another episode. Just let me live my life. But I'm actually very excited about this episode today. I don't know why I'm low energy today. I have had coffee. I should be doing A-okay. But this episode is maybe my favorite one yet. I know I say that often, and that's probably true. As new episodes come in, the favorability factor replaces old episodes, although I still love them all. They're like my children that I don't have. That's a big difference. I have episodes, I don't have children. So they're not quite like my children. But anyway, my guest today is the one and only Mr. Larry Murphy. If you don't recognize Larry's name, you will certainly recognize Larry's voice. Larry is the role of Teddy on Bob's Burgers. He does a lot of other voices on that show too. He's an amazing voiceover guy. You've heard him in many things, including O'Grady, which was a totally underrated show, Assy McGee, a ton of shows. He's also been on camera in things like Delocated. He played the doorman that Todd Barry shoots. He's the doorman who has an obsession with lamps. Larry is maybe the funniest person I know. Known Larry for probably 10 years. There are very few people on earth that make me laugh as much as Larry Murphy. And this episode illustrates that beautifully. This is incredibly fun. We laughed a lot. I had to stop a couple times while I was editing it because I started laughing just editing it, which sounds very, very self-indulgent, but is 100% true. And I was laughing at Larry, not me. I just so you know, I wasn't laughing at myself. I don't listen to myself and laugh, although I assume you all probably think that I do. I assure you, I do not. But I think you will laugh quite a bit. This is a very fun episode. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode of TV Guidance Counselor with my guest, Larry Murphy.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
Mr. Larry Murphy, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Ken?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for trekking up to the homestead up here.
Absolutely.
In the burbs. It's
great.
Yeah, we were just discussing how this is an odd house. And yeah.
It's an odd house. It's a great house.
It is basically, it's a combination of me trying to make live in a video store and Pee-wee's Playhouse.
It's both of the things. It's tough. Well, you did it because it's both of the things.
Both of the things. I hire, the weirdest part is the employees. I mean, I needed the authenticity, so I make them wear a uniform, and you need a ID card to come in. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. So I applied you with a couple of stacks of TV guides here, and I kind of guessed sort of early to mid 80s would have been your prime time watching TV.
Without a doubt, yeah.
And you, big family, right? Bunch of siblings?
6 kids, yeah.
Okay. All sisters and you?
No, four sisters, one brother.
Okay. And you're right in the middle?
I'm second to last.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you, when you were having television watching discussions, which I'm sure were very civil.
Yeah. No, I was definitely, whatever... I was not involved in the decisions. This is the first time anyone's ever asked me what I wanted to watch on television.
Yeah, so you were pretty much
literally the first time, and it's really late to the party.
So there was nothing you ever had to advocate for. You're like, hey guys, maybe this thing.
I feel like when people were slightly older, that they had lives, and still my life revolved around the television. Like by the time I was 10 or 11, I probably had control of the TV.
Right, because they were just out of the house.
Yeah, they had lives.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
That is the weird thing I've discovered doing this show, is that it does seem to be the sweet spot is sort of between ages 8 and 12 is when people watch the most TV, because they're old enough to have their own taste, but not old enough to actually do anything on their own.
That's right.
So they are like, here's the control I have.
We couldn't go anywhere, and... Yeah, I think Friday nights always consisted of like making popcorn and then being in control of a television.
Classic Jiffy Pop?
No, always an air popper.
Oh, you had one of those air poppers.
A little air popper.
Fancy.
I mean, come on.
My world, you had to go on.
Pretty great.
You had to go on Sale of the Century to win one of those. You could just buy them.
Wait, those are like $14,
I know,
aren't they?
It's true. Yeah.
They haven't gone up or down in value. It was never a new technology.
They're like 10 Jiffy Pops. I don't even know if you can still buy Jiffy Pop, but I feel like
You can still buy Jiffy
Can
Pop.
you buy
It's out
the therapeutic value of making Jiffy Pop?
No, it's super satisfying.
I think that's the next adult coloring
super
book.
satisfying. But it's also every once in a while one of those would go horribly awry.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you're psyched for popcorn, and then
It never made great popcorn. It was just the fun
it's horrible popcorn, but it's like something happened and you did it. So it's pretty good.
Like, I made this. Look, it's getting big. Right. Yeah, in hindsight, now that I've mentioned it and I'm thinking about it, there were some major family fights and a lot of pressure over being in charge of shaking it as it went. And they're like, it's too fast. No, you do it slow.
There's got to be a technique.
It's too long
right?
now. Yeah.
It turns out that if it just hits heat, it will do what it's supposed to do.
There's no shaking required.
There's no trick.
And you cannot be blamed for
Right.
that. Yeah. I did discover there's a weird local company. I've used the word weird too much this episode already. And I can't remember the name of them.
Weird.
Weird. I'm George Carlin also.
It's weird.
No weird. Got any dope? That makes microwave popcorn without any chemicals.
Yes.
Because apparently microwave popcorn's like the most carcinogenic, awful thing for you on earth.
No, I heard that, and I didn't hear it until very recently.
Yeah.
I was just when I heard that, all I was thinking to myself was like, oh my God, how much of that did I put into my body?
Oh,
I'm
yes.
like, I think I put all of it. I'm like, when that came
every
out,
drop.
like, a microwave, and it was like instant, and it feels like it's way too late to be getting that information.
Yeah, because
I haven't made it since, but once I heard that, I was like,
there's still a lot in there. Yeah,
there's still a lot.
Pounds and like microwaves for most people were just popcorn machines.
They were.
We pretty much did nothing. Anything else you made in a microwave was just a compromise. Like, I guess I could use it for that too. But it was pretty much just what can I make popcorn
Wait a second,
fast?
you could reheat food in this thing?
All right, it's just a popcorn machine. So yeah, that's all we made, and I found that out. But this is really weird, where you put the oil in the bag and then you like have to, it's like a 3-step process, but there's only 2 ingredients, and they made these special bags that were Quinn. That's what they're called, Quinn popcorn. They're based out of like Arlington, and it's really good, but there's like steps involved.
Wait, it exists now?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's local?
That's local, yeah.
Oh,
but I think they're in like all the Whole Foods and stuff now.
Oh, wow.
But I was so excited to be like, non-cancer causing microwave popcorn.
Microwave popcorn is back.
And I don't have tumors. And I bought some, and I was real excited. And then I think it's still in my cabinet. I don't think I've made it. I think I made it once, and it was good. But I was like, the thrill is gone now.
Right.
The thrill is gone. So I gave you a bunch here, and you landed on one that's October 3rd through the 9th, 1981. Now, I don't want to assume this is why you picked it, but there is a lovely photo of Valerie Bertinelli on the cover.
That was not the reason. I think I was trying to find the closest thing to around fall.
Yep.
Like when I think I originally asked you like any of those fall preview guides, because that was definitely my thing.
So you guys got TV Guide.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely got TV Guide, and I remember, I forget when that would gear up. Was it August that it would gear up for the fall what's preview? Coming in September?
You would sometimes get it like the first week in September, because the second or third week was when the new show started. So you really only had like a week or maybe 2 weeks lead time.
No, I'd definitely go at between the ages of like, I don't know, 9 and 12, I'm sure I went through that and was like, and I'm going to watch this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch this.
This sounds fantastic.
Yeah. And I don't think I was allowed to watch too much during the week. I think it was like.
Was there a limit on how much you could watch?
Friday and Saturday? Yeah. I think that if Friday and Saturday, or if there was something really specific, I'm sure that I showed my hand early, and I probably did the thing my kids did now, which is I let them know the thing they could use like against me.
Yeah.
Against me until Wednesday. I'm going to watch this thing. Is there any chance I can watch this thing on Wednesday? It's very important. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that a child, and they will say that too, like, it's very important that I see this.
It's very important.
Like, is it really?
Is it? Well, we'll see how important it is, because we're going to use that for 5 days as a reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know that thing I told you was very important? Yes. I forgot the thing today is actually really important.
Yeah. And once upon a time, if you missed that thing pre-VCR,
you
might have had one. Yeah. you definitely don't want to hear about how other people saw that thing and you didn't.
Oh, you would have no cultural capital, and you would be a pariah in school if you couldn't talk about what happened.
You did not see.
Or if you made the wrong choice, like if the fall preview, there's 2 shows on and they're on the same time, and you decide which team you're going to play for, and that's the one that gets canceled. And you're wrong.
You didn't watch Airwolf?
No.
Forget it. You were out.
Really? You went with Manimal?
You watched Manimal?
Yeah. Actually,
that show's only going to last a little long. I think we were talking about that before Manimal.
Yeah.
What year was that?
1983. And I made you a copy of the pilot movie with commercials.
God,
I have it somewhere around there. I'll try to find it before you go. But if you made the wrong choice, you were out of luck. Did you ever have a situation where you went into school and there was something you didn't see, but you had to pretend that you did because the kids all saw it and you were not allowed?
I can't remember anything in particular. I don't know that I remember. I have such a little handle on
that era.
I'm so much better when someone actually gives me a. Do you remember when this happened? I'm like, sure.
Yes, I do.
But I'm like, if you ask me about like what my
open-ended is not good.
Yeah, I can view my when I'm a little kid, I can kind of view that as a little bit of what I would be thinking, but now I'm just like, it's a little cringeworthy. Like I remember moments and vignettes,
feelings,
and I'm like feelings and like, what was I thinking?
Oh yeah, that was nonstop for me. I mean, it was pretty much the sort of the worst version of the fall preview sort of conundrum was what lunchbox you'd get. Because you had to pick, and you wanted something kind of hip, but it might be a show that everyone hated or was canceled immediately, and now you have that all year.
Oh,
so you
made a bad decision. Trying to think of something that didn't go. That was like, ooh,
the Sleestacks Fun Hour, or like whatever weird thing that no kid had heard of.
Sleestack Fun Hour.
That I would have watched.
By the way, those Sleestacks, those are still those
terrifying.
Yeah, they're a nightmare, and also they never were acceptable. You should not include that in that
children's programming.
Yeah, that's a different show.
Yeah,
that's a nightmare.
Bill Lambier played one of them.
Are you serious?
Yeah, a bunch of college basketball players were, and some of them went on to
play professional ball.
They needed the height. They wanted lanky, tall dudes.
That's so
for
crazy.
These Sleestack suits. Yeah.
Yeah, and they moved slowly.
And they're weird, lumbery. Yeah.
I know I had plenty of dreams about Sleestacks.
So every Sid and Marty Krofft thing was terrifying, but the Sleestacks were probably the most terrifying.
And they had Shaka in that show, too.
Shaka is horrific. They had, here's the levels they went into. For
What year is this?
75.
I feel like I saw all of this.
Oh yeah, Land of Lost.
I'm like, and that's come on. I mean, I'm sure it went past that, but I feel like 6 years old. I'm sure I watched those.
It was in reruns.
People probably thought, what's the big deal? He loves dinosaurs, and it's a show about dinosaurs.
Kids love a terrifying monkey man. Well, the weirdest, so that show they took really seriously. They hired a Harvard linguist to invent a language for Shaka's people. So everything he's saying isn't nonsense. It's an actual language that this person invented for that race in the show.
That's real.
Yeah. Oh, that's what networks. That's how much money they had.
That is such a waste of time.
Could you imagine you're working on a show and they're like, "Larry, your character speaks a made-up language, but we've hired a linguist to write that language. It's a real language now."
I don't. That's such a terrible.
It was the 70s. I mean, this was when Esperanto was still a thing, so I'm not terribly surprised. Yeah. One of the only movie shot in Esperanto stars William Shatner.
Really?
Yeah, it's called The Incubus, and it's written by Charles Beaumont, who wrote a bunch of Twilight Zone movies. And it was actually a pretty good movie, but it's all in Esperanto.
And what year is that?
65 or 66, I want to say.
No way.
It looks really cool. It's like a beautiful, weird, haunting black and white movie, but it's in Esperanto because they were like, "This is going to make so much money because this is going to be the language for everyone."
People are going to love this.
They're going to absolutely love it. Is there anything your kids have watched now that you are like, you think they should be scared of, but then they're not?
They're still young enough that the other day, they're 4 and 7.
Yep.
And I came home the other day and it was the very end of, and I've seen none of this movie, is Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
And it was the end of it. And
like the end of the last movie when it's really terrifying?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just kind of looked over and was like, I don't know. Like I looked at what was on screen and everyone was kind of upset in the room, and I was like, I don't know that this is this a bad choice? Is this a bad? I'm only seeing this now. I don't know what. But is he made of sand and now he's dissolving?
Where's his nose?
Yeah, why is that happening? And I just happen to walk in. But otherwise, no, pretty limited with what they're able to watch as far as. I'm the one encouraging. There's some cartoon called Uncle Grandpa.
Oh yeah, on
Have you
Cartoon
seen
Network.
it?
Yeah.
That show's really, really dumb, and
Yeah.
I think we both connected
both
on
enjoy
that.
it?
Yeah, my wife kind of put the stop on like Uncle Grandpa, like that. Uncle Grandpa's completely inappropriate.
But that's a dad and son's type
yeah,
show
that's
now.
a dad and son type show.
She just
with
ensured that you would watch it.
Uncle Grandpa. They make no sense.
Well,
They're-
Adventure Time is one of those ones that I love that show.
Yeah.
And it's great, but that's a dark show. And there's
Right.
some really terrifying stuff in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I think she still feels like that might be a little old for them.
Yeah, I would agree. That's
Uncle
probably
Grandpa
correct.
is
Uncle
definitely
Grandpa-
inappropriate too.
No,
I don't know.
but
Is
it's dumb young. It's fun. But there are weird things that kids saw that terrified them. Like, they were always like public service announcements that creeped me out, or like a lot of kids were scared by like weird production company credit things, like those
Right.
like the embassy
Right.
one. For some weird reason, there's like a whole bunch of people terrified by those.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What's the one? What was the embassy one?
It was like that weird E that spun around on a blue screen. It was like a white E, and it went like at
the end of what?
It was before like Benson.
Really?
And it was after a bunch of different shows. And
Oh
then,
God,
like,
I got to go on YouTube and remind myself
people
of what
have done
that.
whole edits of them. Like, here are the most
Really?
terrifying ones. Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
like the Sidubu Sit.
Yes.
But that one I don't think made anyone uncomfortable.
Yeah, or there's a cat inside of an ashtray.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
that cat inside of an ashtray?
Yeah, it's the MTM thing.
Yeah.
It's a parody of the MGM, but for
Oh.
MTM, so it's a cat.
Just now getting the joke. Now I get it.
My favorite thing is on Newhart's shows, though, he overdubbed the meow.
He did?
So on all the Newhart shows, it's him going meow,
Meow.
which is really
Yeah,
funny.
It's funny. It's super
I
funny.
loved those. So we went in here with Valerie Bertinelli, who you did not have a crush on.
Nah, I don't remember. This would have been before any
Pre-crush, yeah.
Pre-crush and like.
She looks the same now. Being
Yeah,
married
she
to
looks
Eddie
great
Van
on the cover of
Halen.
this. On the cover of this, what did you say it was? 81.
81, yeah.
Yeah.
So she looks pretty much the same, and being married to Eddie Van Halen does not apparently age you as much as I would think it would.
No, that should take it out of you, but
It really should. She has a son named Wolfie.
she does.
Wolfgang Van Halen.
That's a great name.
Yep. He plays bass in Van Halen now. He replaced Michael Anthony.
He did?
Yeah, they kicked Michael Anthony out.
Wow. That band is still going?
Oh, yeah, with David Lee Roth.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
David Lee Roth from Somerville.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
He's from Somerville?
Grew up in Somerville and then moved to Southern California when he was like 19 or something.
Wow. And then for a red hot second, he did radio.
Oh, yes.
He did
You
radio.
replaced Stern on terrestrial
I know.
radio.
That was the craziest.
That was bad.
Yeah. That was the
need-
height of me commuting. And I listened to that and I was like, wow, I can't believe that.
How is this a thing?
Yeah. How is this happening?
I highly recommend
It didn't
everybody-
happen for long though. How long did
Oh, no. It
did
was only, it
exist?
was like a month. And then they
Yeah,
booted
it
him.
was like if I started doing radio today, and I
Yeah.
felt like that was the level of like, sure, give me a show.
But they
Can't be any worse than
Zazow! He didn't do
Yeah.
enough Diamond Dave type stuff. There's
everyone would have loved to listen to Diamond Dave.
Zidabop.
It was when he was getting,
very
he kind of,
serious now. Yeah.
pontificate a little bit, and
my
you know what we're doing.
But he wasn't even doing like a
time.
like a what's his name, Jay Giles band, Lights Out. Peter Wolf.
Yes, Peter
when he
Wolf.
used to be a BCN DJ,
Right.
And he was huge on like the wow, zigging back, big old stacks of black slack, coming to Jack, back, Jack, wow, and you're like, what are you
Coming to the top of the hour, it's just about 72 degrees outside.
What are you talking about? Yeah, just rhyming nonsense. It sounded like every other thing he said was sha-na-na.
Right.
Are you playing sha-na-na? You just saying that? But the two David Lee Roth things I have to recommend to everybody are, A, go to his website.
Okay.
And the homepage is just a loop of him dancing.
Okay.
And it's hypnotic. And somebody, and this probably, I'm sure I'm not telling a lot of these people anything they don't know, but someone took just all the vocal tracks from Van Halen songs and put them on YouTube. So it's just his vocals, no music. It's hilarious.
Those have to be good.
They're amazing because in Running
What's the best one?
Running with the Devil.
Yeah.
Because at one point he goes, hey, you, who said that? It just sounds like a complete maniac.
Hey, you, who said that?
And then,
baby, how you been?
How you been? Just like a crazy person. And there's a lot of just, and you can hear the
David, real quick, can we get a couple of wild, just whatever you want to do.
Ooh, there's like all kinds of crazy, just isolated. It's fantastic. Much better than Sammy Hagar's solo tracks.
Yeah.
So Saturday night, jumping right in on October 3rd, we're coming into Halloween month. You've already probably solidified the new shows you liked in 1981 that you picked in September. What'd you go with?
I imagined that at 8 p.m. I didn't feel like I had too many choices. I had to go with Walt Disney.
Yeah, it was Walt Disney, the Mandrells, their Love Boat, really.
What was the storyline of the Walt Disney?
Tonight it's The Love Bug. They're showing Herbie the Love Bug, 1969's comedy.
They wouldn't have held on to me in 79 because I would have been hoping it would be one of those. Walt Disney could go either way. That could be something family friendly, or they could be something like a Witch Mountain.
Yeah, Escape to Witch Mountain.
Which feels like I haven't seen one of those in 40 years. I just know that those were horrifying.
Still are.
Yeah, they
both
are.
Movies.
If you rewatch that, is that a horrifying thing?
Yeah.
I can tell you nothing about it except for that I probably saw all of them.
Yeah.
And watched them. It'd be something that I would. My move was to be real close to a TV at the beginning of watching something,
easily
and then
kind of back
move until you're back out of the room and all the way to the room. And now I watch my son do the same thing where he leaves the room and I go, "Hey, wait a second! I thought you were watching that." And he goes, "Yeah, no, this, but that, and then but this part."
I lift the iron.
This
on.
part, but this part. No, I'm going back up there. But this part is no.
It's just this part, but then I'll be back
out of the room. Right.
Slowly so people don't notice kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the room.
Yeah,
that's
Escape to Witch Mountain was terrifying. Disney was really knocking it out of the park with horrifying things in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Watcher in the Woods is one that comes up all the time, which was a horrifying movie with Bette Davis in it. And Something Wicked This Way Comes, which terrified everybody.
Am I crazy to say that it used to be a Sunday night show?
Yeah, Wonderful World of Disney was Sunday night.
Watch a Sunday night.
Which is
every
still
Sunday.
on now. Every Sunday they do the Wonderful World of Disney. Sometimes it'd be like Charlie, the Lonesome Cougar. And then sometimes it would be a movie like The Gnome Mobile that they'd show in two parts. Dobie O'Gillis and the Little People.
Is Incredible Journey, is that Walt Disney?
Yes, Incredible Journey is Walt Disney.
I don't think it holds up, but boy,
No.
I really loved that whole...
Yeah, the little dog and the cat on there.
No, just that narrator thing.
Oh,
where
yeah.
He's just like... Where it's just like... It wasn't long before Tiger found trouble. He's walking along.
Yeah.
They made some new friends.
That was a good
what's it
gig.
called?
for
Oh,
that guy
great
then.
gig.
Yeah, because he did the Goofy ones too. Like I always loved the cartoons.
Is it that? Is it the same guy?
Yeah,
the
the
same guy.
skiing Goofy would be like, Goofy tries skiing. And
Oh,
yeah, like,
right.
it'd be the
This
same
is
thing.
Goofy. Goofy gives it a shot
Yes.
trying skiing.
Of course, this car is only for dogs. Like whatever weird thing it was.
And the mother.
Yeah, so this is Love Bug. I love their description though, because they would break it up. They'd show it in two parts, which is weird. They'd show a movie an hour one week and an hour the next week.
Yeah. They get a lot of time out of that. That's funny too. The idea of that you would break that up and that you'd be tuning into the rest of Love Bug a week later.
Yeah,
Right.
Oh, I'm hanging on to see what
Yeah.
happens here because you couldn't
Yeah.
rent it. But
Well,
this is
that's you binging that show.
I don't
You binging
remember.
that show is over the course of 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a 2-week binge. I don't remember this being a part of Love Bug, but the Love Bug shows it as more than one trick up its fender in a wild race against the unscrupulous driver who once got it drunk on Irish coffee.
He got
He got
that's a
the
story
car
line?
drunk on Irish
Wait,
coffee.
that's the storyline of Love Bug?
Yes, apparently.
Is that the original Love Bug
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
Well,
I
definitely
that.
don't remember that being
I remember
a
Herbie Goes
storyline.
Bananas because the Spanish kids called him Ocho because he had an 8 on his hood. Ocho!
Ojo!
Yeah, but I don't remember the Irish coffee. In
No.
Search Of's also on before that, which
Whoa,
is a show
wait!
that I love.
I loved that show.
Love it. I have
Yeah.
all of them. I
You
revisit
do?
them. Yeah, I love them still.
That was a great program.
That
I
scared me.
would have watched every single one of those, and there was such a seriousness to.
Oh, yeah. Nimoy.
To Leonard Nimoy and talking about whether it's. I could watch one about Loch Ness Monster.
But he never believed any. Like, he always had, like, a weird tough guy exterior, too.
Yeah, it's a little
Like,
bit.
of course
It's a little
nonsense.
dismissive.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's a more dismissive kind of.
The one I always point to is there's one on the Amityville Horror, and he goes to the actual house, and he's in the house doing the hosting segments, and is so going out of his way to be like, I'm not scared of this shit. Like, he's standing in the red room, and he's like, some people think this is like, it's just like Leonard Nimoy. Really,
would
like,
never go in that
on.
house.
No, absolutely not. A friend of mine who's from California was doing some shows on the East Coast, and he'd never been there before, so he went out of his way to go to the Amityville house, and the owner, I think, turned his hose on him.
Really?
Yeah, because they changed the address of it. They've changed the street name and everything to keep people from.
Oh, if
Yeah.
you live there, that's got to be an endless. I mean,
You know
come
it's
on.
that house. No
Come
one
on.
buys that house.
Yeah, no one
Yeah.
buys that. Yeah, you know what you're getting into,
Yeah.
right? Anything specific about this house that I should know about?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh,
Nothing.
it was the most famous haunted house murder house. And
That's right.
it's a real murder house. It was a movie house.
Is it Connecticut?
And it's in Long Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Long Island.
So it's in a movie and real murders happen
right.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. No. That's
Yeah,
No
you get a
thanks.
good deal on that.
No thanks.
But this is an examination of research into biofeedback, which sounds boring. I always remember the one where they went to Salem and had Laurie Cabot and the Salem Witches on.
Oh my God! How did you wait? Wait a second. How old would you have been when this was on?
I don't know, 3.
Was that? It's incredible that you could remember that. I'm like, I remember the beginning of In Search of,
Yeah.
but I definitely couldn't tell you episodes.
This is not a news program.
This is not a news program.
And that's incredible.
How's the theme go?
Boo doo doo doo. Yeah. Boo doo doo doo. Yeah. It was, which creeped me out a little bit too, because there was like skulls and
Yeah, there's
crystal
a bunch
skeletons
of things.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was right up my alley. when I was
not as
that
scary
age.
as Ripley's, believe it or not, though. Jack Palance.
I haven't seen the beginning of that in a while.
Oh boy, Jack
That's-
Palance telling you about mummies. Terrifying.
That is pretty sketchy. That is pretty scary.
I think I would have gone with the Mandrell Sisters that night because
Wait, Mandrells.
yeah, Barbara Mandrell and her sisters Louise and Irene, or Erlene, opened their second season with guest Debbie Reynolds and the rock group Alabama.
By the way, I never would have got to watch any of those things that I mentioned so far, so we would have been watching the Mandrells.
Because your sisters would have wanted to watch
Definitely.
it. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see how their hair is this season.
Yeah, of course. Why not? You gotta.
Love Boat has some really good guest stars this night, though.
Wait,
Pam
what
Grier-
time's? What time's?
Love Boat's on at 8, so Love Boat's on against the Mandrells too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was trying to go with what I thought I would watch at that age.
Yeah,
but if I
Disney-
have my choice, I would definitely watch Love Boat.
Listen how great this Love Boat is. An ambitious singer played by Donny Osmond is embarrassed by his family, who are hillbillies, who arouse the curiosity of a novelist played by Eve Arden. And then the captain opens his suite to the crew after their quarters are flooded, and 2 passengers, played by Robert Guillaume and Pam Grier, are cheating on their mates. Lonnie Anderson's in this one. Rich Little is in this one. Richard Roundtree is in this one.
How long is the show? Is
It's
it
an
2
hour.
hours?
Yeah, Slim Pickens is in this one.
Oh my! Wow.
Yeah, so
that's a lot of story.
That's a lot of story. You have Pam Grier and Richard Roundtree. So you have Shaft and Foxy Brown in this Love Boat episode.
It feels like a layup to remake that right now, right?
Well, we don't have guest stars now, though.
Yeah, no, but that's what people should do. They should find out a way to
Be professional guest stars.
kind of. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess no one does that anymore. But
You
it is
don't-
kind of like there's plenty of people around who could
Oh,
use
yeah.
that gig. That's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, they did bring it back in '97 as the next wave, and it failed.
Really?
Yeah, and they brought back.
No one
Fantasy
liked
Island.
that?
No one liked it.
There's
It
no one
was-
who's just personalities anymore, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like you're either
like,
a
there's no
comedian or
Charos.
you're a. There you go. There's no
Yeah.
Charos, right?
I think they could try it now because I think that the age of the '90s, people didn't have a nostalgia for the original one, and people were a little bit serious about stuff.
Right.
So I think now you could do one and make it silly and stupid and good.
Yeah, you're either. I mean, there's a whole bunch of. You're just kind of making. I mean, you don't have to know the original,
No.
right?
Yeah.
You could just get an amalgamation of a bunch of different people in there, and it would be kind of good.
But we
Be
don't
fine.
have like Netflix or someone could easily do that.
Definitely.
Oh, let's pitch it. We'll
but
make $1 million.
No, if you're gonna waste your time pitching one,
Yeah.
it's not Love Boat you want to bet that you want to pitch. It is
Drunken cars on Irish whiskey.
No, it is Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
And I put that's a 10.
Yeah.
And I said, I know we only go 8 to 10, but Fantasy Island, I haven't seen one of those since I was.
They're
8.
silly. I watch.
Are they
them.
they silly? Because all I remember is disturbing.
It's terrifying, but they're silly as well. Like because Mr. Rourke is
Rourke.
clearly the devil.
Is that the thing?
They never say that, but he clearly is. Like, he has to be.
Oh,
Because he's
that's
always
a
like,
take.
what's your fantasy?
No,
oh, is
he
it
would,
too much
I
for
always
you?
like they come and the seaplane lands,
Yep.
and then Rourke is standing there in the white suit, and the people start to get out, and then Hervé Villachez is like,
Hey, boss, what's her fantasy?
Yeah.
her fantasy is a tattoo that she used to be a famous actress, and she wishes that she could go back to that time when she was a famous actress.
And here's what I always want to know is, A,
How
how
you
does
gonna
he
do that,
know?
boss?
Don't worry, tattoo. Like, how did he know? Is there like every year 1,000 people write letters and 100 people are picked? You know,
It was
like,
a little
isn't that
unclear on why you got picked for Fantasy
Yeah.
Island, but all I remember is like really disturbing.
There's some scary ones.
Yeah.
Because they always went wrong.
Yeah, but they also like dealt with at the time like I don't know, Vietnam was fresh.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have a problem touching on that, where it was
Yeah.
like he served in the war, and you were like,
His
what?
fantasy was to save his battalion that she didn't save.
Yeah, that he didn't save.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, but the weirdest
Yeah.
thing too is they'd always have 3 stories. So one would be that, and
Yeah.
one would be like, this guy wants to do it with everybody. It'd be like a funny one at the same time.
This guy has never been
Yes.
attractive to women, and he wants to be
loves-
attractive to women.
He wants to express his horniness. Do you remember who they replaced Tattoo with when Hervé
No.
Villachez was too drunk and violent on the show?
Is that really what happened?
Yeah,
to him?
he was bringing guns with him.
Wait, he was drunk and violent, and then they took.
They axed him. Yep.
He is like the most popular part of that.
Oh yeah.
Show.
Yeah, he knew it, and he got an attitude, but he also had a huge alcohol problem and carried a gun all the time. He was a fine art painter, which is what brought him to the States.
Really?
Yeah, he was a really fascinating
And where is he
guy.
from originally?
France, small village in France.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he was a nightmare apparently on that show, and they replaced him with Christopher Hewitt, also known as Mr. Belvedere.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah,
Did they put him in a white suit? And they're
Yep.
both in white suits.
Yep.
And how long did that go on?
a season, and then they replaced Christopher Hewitt with Wendy Shaw, who's an actress. She was in The Burbs, and
Wow.
yeah, just they couldn't. You're never going to get another tattoo.
No.
But then he fell in hard times. Do you remember he was in a Dunkin' Donuts ad in the 80s?
Definitely don't remember that.
He came in, it was during the time to make the donuts era. And Hervé Villachez comes in and he goes, the plane, the chocolate. It was him picking the donuts. I was like, poor Hervé.
So I just signed here and here.
Yeah.
So I just sign here,
See
and
the
I
plane?
sign here, and then I do the lines, and then
the
I can go.
chocolate. And I always get Dunkin' Donuts. You know, oh my God, you know what I'm remembering now? This is horrible, and I'm 99% sure this is true. They used him in the ad campaign to introduce Munchkins, which are donut holes for people who don't have Dunkin' Donuts. But I'm 99%
Let's take a second
sure.
just to think
Poor
about
Hervé.
how sad that's not.
He got paid.
Yeah, he did. He got paid.
Yeah.
It's behind him.
Munchkins.
It's the 80s. Fantasy Island money
Yeah.
is running out.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's gotta be in an ad for food based on his genetic affliction.
Right.
Which,
Yeah.
you wouldn't
Just
have
kind of
otherwise.
cavalier about it. Just
Yeah.
that's the way that is. Munchkins, get used to it, buddy.
Is that the only genetic disability that has a food named after it?
Maybe. I mean, that sounds.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
No
think
one
of
would.
this-
I would hope that no one would do anything like that now
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
It's pretty.
I'm sure there was a candy at some point
Yeah.
in the '60s named like Pinheads or Flipper Babies or something.
Oh my god!
They would just be like, "What? What?
What's the big deal?
Who cares?" And,
It's candy. It's fun.
It's candy. Kids
It's
like
candy.
it.
Kids love
Kids.
it. Come on, everybody loves pinheads.
Everyone loves
What are you
Pinheads.
talking
They're great. Yeah.
about? I grew up with pinheads. What's
Well,
your
do you
problem?
remember like all the cherry, which they call them cherry heads now, but lemon heads, the non-lemon varieties were all racist. What cherry heads were called Cherry Clan, and it was like a Chinaman
Wait, what was the name of it though?
Cherry Clan. Like
Cherry
Chan
Clan. Because I remember the box.
Yeah, they
come
were
in little
red
boxes,
and they had
right?
the eyes and like little coolie hats on.
Oh, I never put it together.
Yeah.
I was too young to understand what's
The racism of cherry heads.
There's an age when you're young enough not to get the racism. You
Yeah,
just-
which is good and
you
bad.
liked.
You
Well, I
just
mean,
go, "It's good
yeah.
candy."
You're not basing it on your racist choices. You're basing it on what kind of candy you like.
I only like candy. The worse I hate that race, the more I like the candy. Well, you do know the Sugar Babies thing.
No.
Oh, Sugar
Wait.
Babies and Sugar Daddy. Those
No.
were originally called N-word babies and N-word daddy.
Until when?
50s.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Could you imagine
No.
a candy called that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's horrific.
How about not throwing out? How about something having such a rich and horrible storied history of being like, hey, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah.
We can just change the name.
Still make the candy. Still make the candy. That's not a problem at all. And they had to put sugar in, which came out of cereals because like Super Golden Crisp was Super Sugar Crisp, and then they changed it to Golden because kids Sugar Smacks turned into Honey Smacks.
Oh, they removed the word sugar.
Word sugar, but Sugar Babies, they were like, why don't we put the word sugar in there? Because, oh boy.
I learned something I didn't know.
Sorry to ruin Sugar Babies for you. There is an amazing made-for-TV movie on at 9 o'clock that night. I don't know if you picked it.
I did. It was called Tilt.
Yes.
Yes, Tilt 1979. I picked that because that would be the kind of thing that I definitely wouldn't have been allowed to ever watch. And that sounds like something that I had a friend that lived down the street who maybe you had one of these friends, or maybe you were the person who was like this. You probably were the person. It's just basically the person who could do whatever they wanted.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, you were the person who could do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
So he could do whatever he wanted. And if I stayed over his house, we could do whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
And they had a VCR before anyone had one.
Top loader?
Yep.
Were they a satellite dish house?
I don't remember them as satellite dish, but I remember their father got into the video game racket. Video tape racket.
Oh, he was like the flea market bootleg guy?
No, it's worse than that. It's when they first opened up, people don't know this, but when they first opened up video stores, they would lay the boots to people. They would lay the boots and they would be like a lifetime. You'd sign up
for membership,
and it would be like, yeah, it's a lifetime membership. It's going to be about what's the maximum amount, reasonable amount of money that someone would pay?
$2 bills.
To how much you got on you?
Yeah.
How much you got? Can you go home? You come up with like $250.
If you lose a tape, you leave one in your car. I know where your kids go to school.
It would be about $250, and then you'd still pay rental fees.
It was a deposit.
It was like that money,
yeah.
But it would be like $250. So I think at the beginning, a lot of people, it was a real heyday.
Oh yeah,
I think his father was doing pretty well off of.
Did he own a video store?
Oh yeah, he owned a video store.
Oh, this was in Abington.
It was in He didn't own it in Abington. It might have been in Quincy, Massachusetts.
Was it a dirty video store?
I think they all were. I think
in
that
Quincy,
it was. No, I'm sure like half of the. I'm sure like
things they
I'm sure
actually
at the
made money
beginning, it's there's some curtain, and then if you went back through the front end of the store is like, that's a pretty small video store.
Yeah.
And they probably had a curtain, and then you went back there, and then it was like, oh, this is where the rest of the store is.
Do this many people really rent Children of a Lesser God? No, they don't actually. They rent
no one was hunting down the Oscar winners for that year.
I remember we had a video store open in my town called Movies on Video.
Yeah.
And my cousin Michael was the first one to tell us that it opened, and he came over and he was like, this fucking place is fantastic. They got fucking XXX movies and binders, and these movies I read about in Penthouse, and one of them got 4 fucking stiffies, and you can rent it. And I remember being like 7 years old and being like, why are you telling us this at dinner with the whole family here? But it was a good video store, but I never went into that area. But,
I don't remember. There was no exposure to. I'm sure that's where he was making his money. There was no exposure to that, but it was definitely a place where I would be able to watch something that never would have been allowed to watch, like, I don't know, Kentucky Fried movie or Car Wash or like, but this one, Tilt, when I saw it, this is what this reminds me of. It was like, Tilt, I don't know anything about it, but like,
it looks like
I
it
do
should
know
be dirty.
that there's going to be a scene in Tilt that's probably inappropriate for someone who's 8.
So this is
watch.
From 1979. It follows the cross-country odyssey of a 14-year-old pinball wizard and aspiring rock singer, played by Brooke Shields.
Okay, that's...
So she's traveling the country hustling pinball at 14.
Yeah, 9-year-old me is 10-year-old. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, and they re-released it because...
Did you see the ad that they had in there? By
Oh,
the way?
yeah, it's fantastic. Brooke Shields is Tilt.
Yeah, but do you see what it... Yeah.
Before Blue Lagoon, before Endless
Blue
Love.
Lagoon.
Have you seen her naked as a teenager? Watch her play pinball. Yeah.
Right, that's what it is.
It's her first starring role, and Charles Durning is in it, too, which is really weird.
Yeah, that is really weird.
I just love the concept of someone being like a cross-country pinball hustler.
Yeah, I mean, that's, once upon a time you could do that.
I might
Once
quit
upon
my
a
job.
time you could make... That'd be a real racket for you.
Oh, yeah. Pinball hustle. Saturday Night Live premieres this night. It's the season opener for the 1981 season.
Really?
And this is when everybody had left. So this is the first cast without Lauren Michaels,
Right.
without any of the people.
Right.
It's got a film of John Lennon and Yoko Ono made especially for this show, and musical guest Rod Stewart, plus a surprise guest host.
Wait, they don't say who the host was?
Nope.
For 81?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't remember who it is either. It's the 7th season premiere.
It's a good question of whether that... So, 81...
They just added Christine Ebersol and Mary Gross to the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Returning cast members are Robin Duke, Tim Kazurinsky, Eddie Murphy, Joe Piscopo, and Tony Risotto, who just died.
I would have stayed up and watched this. I would
Yeah.
have seen that at age 9.
Yeah. Oh, I totally would have watched it.
I would have watched it.
Yeah.
I probably was watching all of Saturday Night Live at that age when I was that
for sure.
young.
Yeah.
I
Even that
probably
was
didn't miss it.
the worst years. There was still some fun stuff in there.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that's the years that Eddie Murphy completely...
He was the star of that show.
Oh, my God. It was great.
Joe Piscopo. I mean,
He'd be in all of the sketches.
yeah. Once they found out that was what people liked, Eddie Murphy was all over it until he did 48 Hours.
Yes.
He was the only cast member, and I don't think this has been broken since, to host the show while they were a cast member.
That happened. Wow.
Yeah, I think it was 83 or 84. He hosted, I think it was the season premiere, because he had done either 48 Hours or
Did he
Beverly
do a
Hills
movie
Cop
that-
over the summer. And it was
right.
huge, and he was still under contract for a year, so he hosted while he was a
Wow.
cast member, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, but so, I mean, how long was he on SNL?
4 years.
That's unbelievable. It's a volume of stuff.
And he was 19.
I remember how young he was.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd was 19 when he joined the cast.
I remember him beyond the character, beyond his characters, which were some of the funniest things that were on there. I just remember that that guy was self-aware that he was 19 at 19. I definitely was
not that
at
confident.
19 at 19 years old. I think he's like, I remember he had a sketch where he says, I'm Eddie Murphy. I'm 19 years old or whatever. And then he has a driver who says, we're ready for you, Mr. Murphy. And he said he graduated from Harvard. Or he makes a reference to his driver. That I'm like, wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
he's 19 years old.
He was one of the first guys
Super funny.
that kind of did that Chevy Chase thing where he was like, I'm me on this show.
Yes.
I'm not just the characters.
Right.
I'm the star of this show.
Yeah.
And
well, he used to start his live shows by, I remember, I forget what one of the original, Delirious or
Delirious, and then Raw.
a lot of that stuff is really offensive now. But I remember he would say at the beginning of those live shows, he would say something like, if anyone expect to see, I'm looking at him right here.
Yeah.
Yes, you have a Gumby in here.
Yes.
If anyone expect to see Gumby, get the fuck out.
Yeah. It's not going to be that greatest hit
It's
show.
not, no one is going to do Buckwheat.
I do want to point out before we move on to
really
Sunday
funny.
night here, one of the weirdest ads I've ever seen, which I will scan. I don't know if you saw this, but for personalized talking animal chairs. Did you see this ad?
No, I didn't.
Look at that. They're horrifying animal chairs.
I missed it.
That squeal.
This right here, let's get to the bottom of it, Ken.
Could
What it
you-
says is personalized talking animal chairs, cloud soft comfort, lovable playmates, colorful decoration. This is 100% something that your parents would not buy, but that a person like a grandparent who doesn't know better would be like, this is a perfect gift for
got his
my
name on it.
grandson. It can be personalized. You can pay by Visa, MasterCard, or
COD?
back in the day when you could pay by COD,
Poor
which people
mailman.
don't even know what COD is.
You would
do they?
pay the mailman. Can you imagine you buy something on Amazon and when the mailman brings it to you, you have to pay him?
Not only do you have to be there, but you have to be there and you have to have cash.
Yeah.
You have
An
cash
exact change.
and exact change, and you pay the mailman.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And you don't know
then-
if he's going to actually say that you paid him.
No, you don't know what's getting. No,
Yeah.
you might get your product, you might not. Who knows? You
Yeah.
might get it a day in advance. Maybe he asked you I forget how it worked.
Sometimes they'd give you like an invoice or something, or they'd let you know that like
Right.
tomorrow I'm coming by.
Tomorrow I'm coming by
I'll
for
have
the
your
money.
personalized squeak chair.
the idea that the mailman's like, have that money ready for me tomorrow.
Yeah, I might got a package
Yeah.
for you tomorrow. Be a shame if something would have happened to your squeak chair.
Yeah, it'd be really sad if you weren't able to sit inside a kangaroo.
It's called cash on delivery. You know what I'm doing right now? Delivering. So cough up the cash, kid.
How about the fact that they were able to make enough money off of this to take out ad space,
Full
in
page.
TV guide, full page for a personalized talking animal chair.
I like that they call it talking because clearly they designed chairs that squeak, and they couldn't not make them
Wait,
squeak.
how do you know that it squeaks and that
So
it
I
doesn't
think
talk?
it says squeaks.
Oh,
On
yeah,
the top,
that's
it
all
says what they
does.
say. It's like squeak because it's a mouse chair.
But it's not. That's the worst part.
it's a tiger.
That's a cat chair.
Yeah.
Cats don't squeak.
They do when you make them out of poor vinyl materials.
yeah.
And then try to spin that as an asset.
Yeah, you're right. That doesn't look comfortable. It looks like it would. It also looks like it's probably would go up in flames.
Oh, yes. That is not flame retardant in any way.
Nope. Whether
Yeah.
you're Bobby or Eve or June, you're going to have a comfortable time
Yeah.
for about 13 seconds before this
So your skin becomes one with the polyester cover.
and before this starts to deflate.
Yes. Or you break out in a rash. It's like a
Any problem with
yeah.
vinyl?
Nah, vinyl. And Eve, which I guess is a monkey, just looks like if you combined Elvis with Ronald McDonald and also a monkey.
It's got a lot of aspects of characters that people already know and love, Ken.
I also like that you need to put the name on it because someone's going to be like, this is my chair. Is your name Bobby? Is your name Bobby?
Get out of this.
I am, and this is called Bobby. Oh, I love that ad. Sunday night, would you go with 8 o'clock?
Oh, I got to watch Chips.
Yeah, Chips is a good one this evening.
Yeah, Chips is pretty great. What is it?
The stunt is suicide. The stuntman is John. Watch a world-famous stunt. When a world-famous stuntman is arrested, John must perform the suicide stunt in order to save the circus.
Oh, boy. Wait. Is Punch taking the day off? Why?
Punch is there, but he's
Are
like...
you sure he's there?
Yeah,
Does it
he's
say
in the
Eric
picture.
Wait, he's in the photo?
The Chips wheel into their 5th season, chasing a gang.
Wait, 5th season?
5th season.
Okay, well, that's 5th season. That means that the actor who played John was like, hey, listen, guys, everyone loves Estrada, but can I get a couple of storylines
How
here?
about little
How about a
Larry
couple-
Wilcox get some starring roles
How
here?
about you throw me a bone here with a couple storylines?
This one gets even weirder.
I don't know if anyone looked at that thing that I wrote up about the stuntman, but
I can.
take a good.
You could set me on fire.
I got rage.
He goes, and this is the
I'm
height.
willing.
I'll do it.
Guys, I'm willing to be set on fire. We don't
That
have
Evil
to-
Knievel isn't the cool. This was the height of stuntman
That is-
coolness.
yes.
'Cause Fall Guy, Evil Knievel was huge.
This stuff is really great.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's the first time that stuff that is really. I always think it's the strangest thing about this time period is that it's how is it that dopey television could be so meaningful to adults? If you're an adult and you tuned into Chips,
This was not a children's show.
that is not a children's show, and
Yeah.
yet all it's made for is for children
Yeah.
and lunchboxes and riding around on a bicycle and pretending that you are
Punch.
California Highway Patrol.
But it was true
Right.
broadcasting. I think that whole families
Yeah.
watch this stuff together, which they don't really now.
Yeah, no, they don't.
But
I
you would
mean,
have a guy you work with in the office and be like, you see Chips last night? Man, John got set on fire. He was on a motorcycle. Like, could you imagine like someone
No.
at work now talking about a children's show? They're like, dude, you see that so Raven? Oh my God, she had a business baking cupcakes and she got too many orders. Like whatever the thing is.
Whoa, that was
Whoa.
crazy. I saw that.
This gets even crazier.
Chips is, the idea that Chips is definitely not Chips is that's a Sunday night at 8
Yeah.
o'clock.
Prime
and that's
time?
named that's aimed at
Whole
an
families.
adult.
Yeah.
You think whole families?
I think whole families. I think they were like, let's put something in for everybody in this.
Right.
But yeah, more adult than some of the more kidsy type shows for sure.
Wait, fifth season too. How many seasons did that
I
go?
think 9. I think it ended in 84, so I think 9 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
And they have a movie out. There's a Chips movie now. In
Right.
theaters,
Yes. Yeah.
The Chips were on the first season, and then it goes, box office robbers try to keep tabs on a rambunctious motorcyclist who's harassing a Chip employee, a woman he dated, in their native Hungary.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, that's the plot for...
The Chips, and that guy goes to jail because he's harassing this Chips employee, this Hungarian stuntman. So that's why John has to go undercover to combat these box office robbers.
Oh, so John goes undercover as a stuntman.
Yeah.
Does that seem like a lot? I don't know much about the writing part, but does that seem like a lot of story?
That's a lot
for
of
something.
story.
That's a lot of. That's
Yep.
a lot of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of background there.
Yeah, that's
There's a lot of
complex-
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Do we need the part about Hungary and?
Yo, why is he Hungarian? It must have been that the actor is a real stuntman and is actually Hungarian.
That makes
so
the
they were
most
like,
sense.
just make
Right.
him Hungarian. He can't do anything
you
else.
mind? Because
Yes.
have you heard this guy speak? Come on.
John, I didn't. Here's the weirdest thing. Up against this episode of Chips with the
Yep.
Stuntmen is a special Guinness Book of World Records hosted by David Frost and Jamie Lee Curtis. And the records include a wire walker at an elevation of 9,000 feet in the German Alps, a trapeze artist suspended from the world's highest cable car in Venezuela. This is my favorite. A man who wrestles a 14-foot snake. I've never seen anyone wrestle a snake.
Two things having to do with height and one thing having to do with wrestling a snake.
Yes.
And how do you set a world record with that?
Guess don't die the longest time.
Yeah. Or you did it for the longest?
Or you're wrestling the biggest snake.
Whoa.
It might
Well,
be
I mean, it can be both of those things.
it might be
right?
just the dumbest thing on television.
Yeah, that seems like a crazy combination. And none of that stuff is fun unless it's live.
I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be pretty fun watching a man wrestle a 14-foot snake.
Yeah, but live. I want to know that there's a possibility something might go wrong.
How do you know he wins? Like,
Well,
what's
because
the
it's
end
on
game?
the air, Ken. It would never be never.
No,
made
but just
the
when it's on the air, like
it's not a snuff film.
How do you know the wrestling match is over? Like, what's the end
how do
game?
you know who the winner
pin
is?
the snake? Does it get like I don't understand?
Well, it taps out.
or it's just like
It
I'm
taps out.
done,
Yeah,
man. I'm done.
I'm done.
And then it also has these are non-records.
Also, the snake does not know that he's in on this.
No, this is not a rivalry
No,
the
this
snake is
is
aware of.
no,
the snake's
he
like,
doesn't
why is this guy rolling around with me? I'll wrestle that snake. Very strange. Then they have featured things that aren't records but are just on the show as well.
Like what?
We have canine high jumpers, a water skier, and a violinist who plays riding a bicycle backwards.
Those are a lot of throwaways right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
That's
that's
a lot
just
of extra stuff.
Filler.
Yeah, that's filler.
Human B-sides.
Yes. Those are human B-sides. That's right.
9 o'clock would you go with?
I think I went with Alice.
This is the 6th season
Just
opener.
because I would like to see that show again, I guess.
Yep.
And also, this is a nice, Sunday nights is a nice shape up with Alice and then...
And the Jeffersons?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd go in with the Jeffersons. And definitely would have enjoyed the Jeffersons. I enjoyed his walk.
He had a
And I
strut.
enjoyed... Oh, his strut
Yeah.
is great. It's
Yeah.
the greatest.
He was one of the first really...
I feel like I was on board with that strut well before anyone even recognized that
Yep.
that was a thing. I was like, George Jefferson walks like this.
Crotch
and it's
first.
Great. Yeah, and it's
Crotch
great. His
first,
arms
arms
go
back.
behind.
Yep.
Yep. And then he
Always
did the
walk-
best thing was his neighbor would come over. Who's his neighbor?
The British guy?
Not
The weird-looking British guy?
is he British? Because I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never got that.
Yeah.
And he would come up and he would always say, "Hello, Mr. J." And then he would say, "Hi, Bentley. Bye, Bentley."
Yeah.
And shut
Slam
the
the
door in his face. And for 8-year-old me, that's like the high watermark of
Still
that's
funny.
It's still pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean, but they definitely did it enough times that registers like, oh God. Oh shit.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
He's gonna... Oh, he did it!
How's he falling for that?
He was one of the first really intentionally unlikable characters I can think of in a show that was like, the main character in the show is just a dickhead.
yeah,
He was
right.
nothing redeeming about him. He was always
Yeah.
an asshole to
Well,
everybody.
he was the answer to Archie Bunker, wasn't he?
Yeah. He had to be that much of a dickhead to combat Archie, I guess.
Yeah, what was he supposed to be? A dry cleaning king?
Yeah, he made all his money dry cleaning.
Okay.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
how he moved on up.
Well, how do I even remember that? That's
very
crazy.
important. Yeah.
Is it?
He's a guy who I feel like lived by the edict, always dress like you're wearing a 3-piece suit, even if you're not.
That's right. That's right.
You had vest walk.
Yep.
The Alice episode is very special.
Why? What
Because
happens?
Vic Tayback bets the diner on a horse.
Oh, man.
He's got a gambling problem.
Wait,
and then
who's Vic Tayback?
He's Mel. From Mel's Diner.
Oh, okay. So Mel didn't leave or anything. He's
no.
still around.
He was still around. And
Is
then
Flo still on the show?
Flo has already spun off to her own series.
She had her own series?
She had her own series.
Was
yeah.
it called Flo?
It was called Flo. Yep. She moved back to whatever southern city she was from. And
Real opportunity was missed not calling that Kiss My Grits.
Kiss My Grits is what it really should have been called.
Definitely.
You know who was in it is the guy who plays the villain in the Police Academy movies and the one who's in Mannequin, Proctor.
Yeah.
I forget that guy's name, but he was like her either brother or husband on that show on Flo. He was like the co-star.
What was the spinoff?
It was she moved back home to take care of her parents, and like her brother lived in a trailer behind
Already
the
seems
house.
like a downer.
It was a real downer. There's
Yeah.
a 2-part Thanksgiving episode.
Things get real.
That's really depressing.
Yeah. Could you set a story in a diner today still? I mean, I guess they have.
I guess Two Broke Girls kind of is.
Yeah, it's always different with the socioeconomics of early 80s television was a
Yeah.
lot more.
Blue collar.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was a lot more blue collar. Right.
Yeah. Well, because I think I always said that Roseanne was like kind of the last great blue collar show, because now when we get shows about poor, struggling people, you laugh at them.
Right.
You don't.
Yes.
Everything's either aspirational
Yep.
or whatever the opposite.
Well,
of
Bob's
that-
Burgers
yeah.
is animated, but it's
Yes.
also, it's definitely supposed to be like they don't have any money.
Yeah.
In some way, but it's
But it's
animated and not have any money. And I don't know how much they hard they hit it with the fact that they're struggling.
They do sometimes, because there's like they'll have like specials or initiatives to try and make some money or get people into the store.
Yeah. It'll be a little bit of a driving force, right?
But it's not. This will sound odd to say about a cartoon, but it's not cartoonish, that aspect of it. Whereas if you look at something like Married with Children or Two Broke Girls, it's their poverty is completely cartoonish. Like you're laughing at them sharing a lima bean because they don't have any food or something.
Oh, okay.
But-
I mean, I can't say
yeah.
I've seen enough of those shows to know like what
Yeah.
what it means to.
I hate Two Broke
They're
Girls.
splitting.
Yeah.
They're splitting something that's
Yeah,
or-
like it's just unrealistically silly instead of
Yeah.
like an actual struggle. Like that,
Right.
I always love the show when the humor comes from, it's people that need to make a joke because stuff's kind of shitty.
Right,
And,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I do get that on Bob's. There's like a
Yeah.
lot of that family, like we're making a joke because like this is a terrible situation.
Yeah, it's not great. Right?
Yeah. Which it now that you've mentioned, it's odd that in order for us to be able to sort of get that kind of show, it kind of has to be animated.
Right.
People won't take it from live action now. They're like, oh, I don't want to see this.
No, people don't want to. Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
bum them out or something.
Yeah, they want an escape. Everything's
Yeah.
kind of an escape, but maybe animated shows can still live there in
Because
some
they
way.
can have that sense of, they can have a setback from reality watching it.
Right.
Just by the nature of the fact that it's animated.
Yes.
Even though the storyline could be very, very blue collar and
Yeah.
a struggle. That's odd. Now that I think about it, like King of the Hill
yeah.
or something like that is very much that kind of show. That's like
Right.
a very, but they're like, no, it's fine. This doesn't make me sad about my mortgage.
Right.
Because they're animated.
I don't feel that bad about it.
I'm not afraid to lose
It's
the house.
animated.
Yeah. That's
That's the worst thing that happens in the animated world.
They getting some turpentine. They go to the dip. Where are we on Monday night here?
Monday, it's the Jeffersons, and then Monday night, I think.
Hold on a minute here.
What?
There's another ad for a really bizarre product in here.
What is it?
Glass tree ornaments, hand blown from St. Helens volcanic ash.
Oh man, in 1980, I don't know. A lot of people know, but in 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted,
Yep.
and
Some people
I vaguely
died.
Did there were
Yeah.
deaths?
There was some deaths.
I had no idea
I
that there were
believe
deaths.
so. Yeah.
I just remember it being a big deal. Like you never get to see
fun.
that sort of natural
Yeah.
world order.
I don't think a lot of people,
blow.
but I think there was a couple deaths.
Really?
I'd have to look it up, and I'm sure someone will email me.
Mount St. Helens erupted, right?
I think so.
And then volcanic ash, and then what do they do with it?
They hand blew it
Let me see
into glass Christmas ornaments, which
Oh, that's great.
Don't
You should
look-
put these out in October because,
yeah,
again, if
you got to
Nana-
pre-order those. You want them in time for Christmas.
I know. If Nana's like, okay, now Nana definitely is like,
I got the grandchildren covered because I got them the chairs.
Get a joint gift for the
Yeah.
couple.
I'm gonna get all those guys probably a glass tree ornament for the other guys.
Everyone gets the same.
Everyone gets the same. But that's really nice that they're doing. Yeah, you know, life gives you St. Helens ash. You just make ornaments out of
Glass
it.
ornaments. When life's give you a volcano ash, you make glass ornaments. Fuck lemons.
Yeah, life gives you, you know,
Natural disaster.
a real disaster. You just make ornaments out of it. It's nice.
Every single
These are nice.
fill them with hot lava.
Thank you so much.
She'd have to tell you
Thank
too, because
you.
you just pulled out some black ball. She
It's
goes, you know, that's
ma-
made out of St. Helens ash.
That's made out of St. Helens ash. God bless those people.
How many like Catholic grandmothers? I don't know if there is an actual St. Helen. Thinks it's made out of St. Helens ashes.
Gorgeous world.
It's a reliquary.
Gorgeous swirls of color, ranging from obsidian black to misty blue-gray, flow around each 3-inch ornament. No two are alike. A cherished historical keepsake in natural wood display box. Money back guarantee. $15 plus $1.50 shipping.
That's not too bad actually. Less than $20 for.
Well, you know what's nice?
You're not gonna
is
get
that it is
hand blown.
Going to Longview, Washington, so it is someone who really is in the.
It's in Washington.
They're collecting that right in their backyard. It's pretty good.
Oh, my fucking yard's total. I don't know why in Washington they talk
I
like
don't
that.
know why. Everyone
What am I gonna do with all this?
Everyone in Washington goes, yeah, well, what are you going to do? You got a bunch of... Everyone, no matter where we are, our
talks like
voices,
that.
our provincial voices are, what are you going to do? You got a bunch of ash in your yard. What are you supposed to do?
Hey, I moved out here last year from Boston, and now I got all
My
this
whole
ashes.
yard's covered with ashes, and then my wife come up with this idea to make ornaments, so I'm like, all right.
But, you know, that's a fucking go-to for everything. Put it on a tree. Make it for Christmas, you know, whatever. But it works. Here's what I'm picturing. They get too many orders. They run out of ash, so they enlist this group of, like, bingo-playing ladies to smoke cigarettes nonstop. Come on, ladies, collect them
Come on,
ashes. We
ladies.
got ornaments to make here.
Come on. Ash, put it in the bucket.
You want to start bingo? You get at least 4 of them cigarettes smoked. Then we can go with bingo. That's Sunday. Monday night, 8 o'clock.
Monday, that's incredible. But
Yes.
I can't. I know that I watched it, but I can't remember anything about it.
So, first of all,
I mean, I know that I watched this like on the weekly. This would have been one that I watched on the weekly.
this is a hell
I
of
feel
a
like
theme.
it's a quasi, like I remember it as like a quasi news.
It was a news magazine show.
Okay.
Real People was the rival show.
Yeah, I would've watched
that.
that
would be
too.
very similar. This on That's Incredible tonight, we have scheduled. So things might change. They're just telling you this is scheduled. Don't get upset
Yes.
if this isn't what it's on.
What?
Reports on a chimpanzee that tends bar, a man who has a tug of war with a blimp in
Whoa,
flight.
wait! Are you telling me that when it says scheduled, that you might tune in and find that is not the episode that's
Yeah,
on?
something might have happened in the
Oh,
week it
that's
took.
interesting.
Yeah,
because they couldn't
would-
have got that stuff in post or whatever was supposed to happen.
Well, because they have to lay this out at least a week before, you know,
Right.
and they're shooting this stuff. That chimp might have died. He might have gone to jail. You know, maybe something went wrong.
Wait, that show's live?
It's not live,
Oh,
but due to the lag of, you know, they have to mail a description and then TV
Right.
Guide has to write
Yeah.
it up. Yeah, they had some production time involved there. But I
Wait,
do.
I'm already interested, and I might try to
Yes.
track down this episode. You're telling me that monkey is able to bartend?
He's a bartender. It is a chimp that tends bar, a man who has a tug of war with a blimp in flight, a reunion of triplets who never knew each other existed, a 5-year-old golfer, and a 1947 Cadillac outfitted for long-distance, nonstop travel. I remember 2 of these stories.
You do?
The 5-year-old golfer is Tiger Woods.
You're kidding me.
It absolutely is. And
That is truly incredible.
Yeah, it very much is, and that
That's
footage is online. It's him and his weird dad, who's like, "Yeah, my kid can do this." Thing."
Really?
Yep. And the
Oh man, I'm gonna find that footage online.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely
of
on
the guy
YouTube.
with the blimp. You thought I was gonna say
blimp.
about the
That's also Tiger Woods. He's 5 years old and he tug of war with that blimp. But the Cadillac guy is, I forget the guy's name. He was in a band. It was something like the Four Tops or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just loved driving cross country, so he had the whole trunk converted into a gas tank, so he could drive without having to refuel. But the thing they don't cover is he also used to wear a catheter when he was driving, so he didn't have to stop.
That's true.
That is true.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that truly is incredible. Also, up against that night, speaking of the theme we have going here, first time on television, CBS special with Dan Rather, Great Movie Stunts. A CBS special presentation. This week, it focuses on Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I might watch that.
Shows you how all the spectacular action was created.
You were right about stuntmen who were at
huge.
the top of their game.
Yeah, everyone loved the stunt.
Yeah, I might want to watch that one.
Because we kind of, that was, for years, people didn't know stuntmen were a thing. They thought the actors did it. And then I feel like, the lid got blown off that scandal, and then they had to make them stars.
Guys, wait a second. Back up. You're telling me that Burt Reynolds isn't doing his own...
He didn't jump off that building? That would be strange if you thought they were really doing that.
You thought,
and then,
no, but that's also like people think that some portion of people think that things are being made up on the spot.
Oh yeah,
or
for like stand-ups. You make it that half hour every night.
Yeah,
but then to find out that like the weirdest part of that is, all right, Burt Reynolds didn't jump off that building.
Right,
a different guy did it for him.
Yeah,
but a guy really jumped off a building.
Right, a guy really did jump off a building.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not going to do it, but you do it. It's fine. There's also an amazing made-for-TV movie on at 9:00 that night. I don't know if you went for it. It stars Sharon Glass, introduces Helen Hunt, and it's based on a true story called The Miracle of Kathy Miller. And this is, she survived. That was the first miracle. Her family endured. That was the second miracle. Now she's ready to prove that miracles can happen 3 times.
Wow. I'm still trying to figure out what the miracle was, though.
Let's see if there's more. So this is... Oh, Jesus. There's also a thing on called Nonfiction Television, Pesticides and Pills for export
you know what's funny
only.
is I kind of thought about watching that.
A 2-part report launches the documentary series' 4th season. The first program investigates the double standards surrounding some U.S. banned or restricted farm chemicals, and then just talks about how we're all being poisoned.
Yeah. I'm glad we don't have to worry about that anymore, Ken.
Yeah, totally done. I'm sure that DDT's coming back.
No, that is Monsanto stuff is not relevant.
It's perfectly fine to spray baby
And anyone listening, you don't have to worry about nothing now, everybody. You are perfectly fine.
Who is the best person to put in charge of your health than businessmen? So this is The Miracle of Kathy Miller, an inspiring tale of courage. In March 1977...
It's a true story?
Based on a true story. Teenager Kathy Miller, a winning athlete and honor student, was struck by a car on an Arizona highway. She emerged from 10 weeks in a coma, suffering from severe brain damage and a mangled leg. Unable to speak, write, walk, or read. The miracle of Kathy Miller is not only that she lived, but that she strove to recover fully. The struggle is dramatized in this 1981 TV movie, which recreates the ordeal that tests Kathy's mettle, aided by her compassionate parents who undertake her rehabilitation in the face of gloomy medical prognosis. Kathy battles, in emotional scenes reminiscent of The Miracle Worker, to talk, walk, and even run again. That sounds very depressing.
That is super heavy for a Monday.
Yeah, that is not... I don't want to see...
Hey, hon, make the popcorn. Come on in. Yeah. Get in here. Kathy Miller's just about to start. Come on.
We just watched a chip-tended bar.
And then to find out that that's a true story is depressing.
That is.
On top of it. It's Helen Hunt?
Yeah. Teenage Helen Hunt.
Wow.
Like some network exec saw some girl who got hit by a car that can't talk and was like, see if she'll sell that story.
Right.
We buy that?
Yeah,
we buy that from her?
That's pretty dark.
You know what I'd buy the story of? A sitcom about a chimp who tends bar. I'm thinking that's more of a home run than the girl who got hit by a car and can't talk. But there was different times. Tuesday, 8:00, what'd you go with?
I got to go with Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay.
Then I'm going with Dukes of Hazzard. Now, I was just talking about this movie recently. I said, now I'd watch The Sand Pebbles.
The Sand
Pebbles is on.
1966 epic yarn about a U.S. gunboat's efforts to remain neutral amid China's 1926 political upheaval. 2 hours, and then it concludes tomorrow with another 2 hours.
I know.
4 hours.
It's Steve McQueen.
Yeah, it is Steve McQueen.
Yeah, it's Steve McQueen, and Steve McQueen is definitely great in The Sand Pebbles. Because he doesn't even know he's in a movie.
No.
The best part about Steve McQueen is he literally thinks he's working on that boat.
Yeah.
Like that's mostly what he's interested in. It's like he's in an engine, he's an engineman, and no one told him that they're making a movie. He just thinks that he's like, I gotta learn how all these machinery works.
We gotta get this boat somewhere. And especially since
we gotta get this boat out of here. The political environment, I'm not interested in it, but mostly I'm interested in getting this engine to work.
What's China? I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but I recall it's set in 1926, and everyone in it is acting like it's 1926, except Steve McQueen, who's clearly in 1966.
Oh, no one told Steve McQueen that he wasn't just working on an engine.
Yeah.
But watch him in any movie, and that's what's great about Steve McQueen is like, if he had to, race a bike or what's it called? You're going to race a bike. But no one told him he's in a movie. He's just like, I got to learn everything about engines. I'm going to learn about engines.
I'm the world's most famous mechanic. I don't know why they point the cameras on this fixing the engine.
And he is in the realm of like, come on, let me do my own stunts.
Yeah. It'd be funny if he didn't do his own engine work. They had like a mechanic stuntman. McQueen didn't change his own oil? What?
Steve McQueen refuses to get dirty.
Yeah. That's the scandal?
That's the scandal. Steve McQueen refuses to...
I see a headline says...
Steve McQueen... Extra, read all about it. Steve McQueen refuses to use degreaser on his hands.
Steve McQueen's secret pit crew. Steve McQueen can't change a tire.
What's that you say, little lady? Steve McQueen can't change a tire? That's right. Steve McQueen can't change a tire.
Former employee Tyrone Jones worked for McQueen secretly from 1961 to 1965 till he was ousted.
He never learned. He never knew how to ride. He never knew how to change a tire.
He didn't even know the car had tires.
Hey, what are those round things right there?
Is that black gum?
Dukes of Hazzard, that's a given. I would have watched that.
Season 4. This is when we still have John Schneider and Tom Wopat before they were replaced by the Duke cousins.
Hold up, they were replaced?
Oh yeah, for 2 seasons.
I couldn't have stuck around then because I don't remember that. Either that or I blocked it out. Ken.
Yeah,
well, that's probably still tough.
They had a contract dispute.
They did?
Yeah, but it was at the time when there was a Dukes cartoon series, and the fake Dukes did the voices on the cartoon series, and even kids knew that was bullshit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just hearing about this now.
I'm sorry to be the one to break this to you, but there were fake Dukes at one point. Yeah, they came in and said they were.
Hold up, you're telling me that the original Duke boys?
They had stunt Dukes.
That's right, Steve McQueen.
I could drive that General Lee. Have you ever heard Dave Walsh's story about driving the General Lee?
No.
Dave
Walsh drove the actual General Lee?
So
where?
Dave Walsh, this was when he was living in L.A. This was full, huge beard Dave Walsh.
Oh, my God.
And you know how Dave likes to lie?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that he knows how to know. Yeah. I don't know that about Dave Walsh.
Dave Walsh likes to pull pranks. And so
I've never been a victim of this Dave Walsh prank.
Never. Dave, and I've told this on the show before, if someone left their car running, he would go steal it and turn it facing the wrong way and leave it where they left it. So I saw him do that many times.
I heard a story about them stealing a car before.
He stole a bus in Aspen when I went there with him. Did I ever tell you that story?
They stole a bread truck, didn't they steal
yeah, outside Improv Boston one night.
Yeah.
It was, so in 2006, I went to Aspen with them, and Kristen Shaw was there, and she was a victim of this. There was buses all over Aspen that took like the rich people around and all this stuff.
Right.
So this bus was idling. It was full of rich people. Dave gets in it and he's like, "I'm your driver. Let's go." And he drives away, and the real driver's chasing the bus, screaming, "That guy's not the driver." And it was like a scene in a movie where it was like twins. He was like, "He's an imposter." "No, he is."
Really?
And Dave got in this. They called the cops. It was really funny.
Did anything come of it or no?
No, they let him go. But so he was living out in LA, and that show Weeds was shooting, and apparently one of the characters drove the General Lee in the show. I don't know why. So Dave somehow convinces them he's a stunt guy, and he gets the job to be this guy's driving stunt double in the General Lee.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait, with the beard?
Yeah, because this guy in the show had a big beard or something.
Really?
Yeah. So, and Dave said later, I think his quote was he wanted to teach them a lesson that they could just hire a guy and put a fake beard on him instead of hiring a guy with a big beard who lied to them about being a stunt driver.
Suddenly, David cares about who's getting jobs because they have a beard, or don't have a beard.
Yeah.
I don't know why someone should be in trouble or not be able to be taken seriously.
Because
We're both doing Dave Walsh.
Yes, very good Dave Walsh. But he, so apparently the guy who owned the car got really mad at him because Dave went through the window to get in.
Really?
And then he's in the show apparently driving this car like a maniac. I don't even know if he had a license.
Show?
Weeds? That Showtime show, Weeds?
Oh, I gotta track that down.
Yeah.
Wow. But that was
Yeah.
the original
That
General
was the
Lee?
General
And there
Lee,
was a
yeah.
bunch of them, right? There was a bunch of General Lees.
This was one they used on the show among others, but so he's driven the General Lee
That's pretty
in a
awesome.
stunt capacity. 9 o'clock would you go with? There's a big deal thing on that night. I don't know if you went with it.
Let me
Tuesday
see.
night at 9.
Tuesday at 9. Well, I'd never get to watch it, so I would have. I'm sure this isn't your big deal thing. I would have watched Three's Company
Because
as
it was
a
kind of
kid,
dirty.
Because I couldn't get enough of that. That would be like one of those shows that if my parents walked in and we had that on, they'd be like, "What are you watching?"
Yeah. Yep. This is a big
And
deal.
I'm sure that we were watching it because we thought Jack Tripper was funny and
Yeah.
didn't get any of the jokes.
None of the
double
jiggle
entendre.
came across.
No.
This
No
is season
way.
6 opener.
Yep.
This is Jenny Lee Harris leaves. She's the one who replaced Chrissy. I used to call her the Scooby Dumb of the show.
Wait, is this the big deal show that you're talking about or no?
No.
Oh, okay. Right.
And she's replaced with Priscilla Barnes as Terry.
Okay.
This is the third roommate.
Yes.
That's not Joyce DeWitt. The big deal show I'm talking about, new, first time on television, hold on to your hat. The Clampett clan is back. 10 years later and crazier than ever, it's the return of the Beverly Hillbillies.
I'm not going to tell you that I ignored it. I read that and
you
it didn't
just said
grab
no?
me. No, do you know what it is? I took a look and I saw who was in there, and besides the dad, it looked like they didn't get that whole cast back together, did they?
Donna Douglas is there, so she's still Ellie Mae.
Yeah.
They do have Buddy Ebsen, but you're right. It's a different Jethro.
Oh.
It's a different
See?
Granny. Yep.
No, I picked up on. I knew what I was talking about.
Yep.
And younger me would have done the same thing. They would have looked at that
Yeah.
and they would have said, "You know what? This looks like a ripoff.
That's a fake Jethro.
It's a fake Jethro right there."
You think I
and if I'm
am?
not watching it for Jethro, what am I watching this for?
It should just be the Jethro Follies. I mean, that's what that shit was.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And Heart to Heart premieres that night at 10. The first episode of Heart to Heart.
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I'm too young for that.
I understand.
I can't handle heart to heart.
I understand. Then let's see, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock.
Real people, or like I said, I'm going to watch Real People or the conclusion of the Sand Pebbles. Sand
Yeah.
Pebbles continues on Wednesday,
It
and I
does.
might I got to get this engine started. I might watch the rest of Steve McQueen doing that. And Real People, I can't. Again, news magazine. Probably watched every single one of them. I can't tell
Yeah.
you anything about them. I
I
don't
loved
remember
it.
anything about them.
I was more of a That's Incredible than a Real People, because Real People would sometimes be a bum out, and this one sounds like a little bit of a bum out.
Oh, I didn't
They
read the
say,
thing.
the greatest Real People ever. Segments include a visit to a tattoo convention in Philadelphia, a look at the plight of young runaways in Los Angeles, a profile of a bird psychiatrist, and the visit to a professional women's basketball team in Arkansas that only plays against men's teams. Also featured an Adopt a Grandparent program and a fashion show for dogs.
They never took a chance that there wasn't going to be enough show.
Yeah, there's something for everybody there.
Yeah, if you can't get into that, if you're hanging on for that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they might hang something like, and we'll be right back with that fashion show for dogs. So stick around later in the program.
Dogs.
Dogs.
Fashion.
Fashion
Well, like
show.
Teenage Runaways, that's heartbreaking. And then a fashion show for dogs right after?
You got to be, if you're going to watch Real People, you got to get used to the idea that you got to be able to switch gears.
That's true.
Got to be able to switch gears.
There's a debut of a huge show that night that they really, really pushed. And they were like, this show is going to be massive. It was on CBS. They pumped a ton of money into it. They got an A-list cast, and it was a huge bomb. And I've, to this day, speaking of lunchboxes, seen lunchboxes for this show. And I don't know who bought them. And it's called Mr. Merlin. And it stars Barnard Hughes, who stars as King Arthur's wise court magician who reappears in modern-day San Francisco in the guise of a greasy garage owner, but he's fallen behind in his good deed doing and has been given only 72 hours to, quote, conjure up an apprentice.
That's funny because I feel like I recognized what it was.
Yeah.
and that I would have.
Sounds exciting. Just
It
wasn't
sounds
good.
a little bit exciting. Yeah, it sounds like something that I might have given a second glance at and watched. I don't know. I don't know about Mr. Merlin.
There's a show not a movie, it's a documentary called Stepping Out. It's a special on ABC. It is a revealing view of talent and creativity in the mentally handicapped. 40 institutionalized Australians under the guidance of an arts therapist. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wait, what time is that?
That's
on
at
prime
8,
time?
Are seen preparing to present a public performance of mime and dance at the Sydney Opera House.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Once upon a time, you can make a documentary and then sell that on mainstream television.
40
and have it be really...
Yeah.
No, but have it be really specific, and it could find an audience.
At 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night.
That's a big night.
Yeah. It's
And in October.
Yeah.
That's a big night.
That is a big night.
Yeah.
I can't imagine families would watch. That seems like a weird thing to watch.
No, that's why you don't see any of those anymore.
Yeah, that
you don't
did
see
not
shows
do
like
well.
that.
9 o'clock would you go with?
So I would have watched. No, see, I would have had to have watched WKRP.
Yeah, so you're not watching the second half of Real People.
No way. I mean, if the dog fashion show happens early, I'm sticking around. But
Yeah.
if it doesn't, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And I'm on WKRP for sure.
This is a
That's
very special
great.
season opener. A terrorist bomb threat during a visit from the station's former receptionist forces the staff to take emergency measures. First of 2 parts.
Always with the two-parter.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, endlessly great show. Endlessly funny, and weirdly, one of the shows that I've seen more recently on Hulu,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I can't believe how good this still is.
The writing is still great, and the cast is great. Lonnie Anderson's so good on that show.
That's funny that I think that
Bailey?
yeah, she's the greatest.
Yeah.
And she's the greatest, and also
Howard Hessman? I like Tim
yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Venus Flytrap.
It's all great. All of it's great. Herb Tarlick and Les Nessman. And it's excellent. And Gordon Jump. Is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a
it's
show
a
that I
real good
definitely watched
ensemble.
all of whenever it was on. And I feel like that was probably on at an early... I probably wouldn't have seen it when it was on a Wednesday, but it would have been something that later in life I would have watched
in
all
reruns?
of. And reruns. Yeah. Definitely.
It was so popular.
Would have been on at like 5 or 5:30,
Yep.
and I probably would
an
have
hour
watched
on WLVI.
Yep.
They were so popular in reruns that in 1989 they did a new WKRP.
They did?
Yes, and it was like WKRP The Next Generation, and Les Nessman was on it. He was now the owner of the station, and they had new DJs.
It
and
couldn't have been good,
It
right?
was terrible. It did not last very long. But they were like, there was a trend in the mid-'80s to do new versions of shows that did really well in syndication. So you had the new Leave It to Beaver, the new Gidget, the new Munsters, the new
Right.
Addams Family, new WKRP.
Yeah.
And none of them really did very
Well, that same idea that holds true today, which you said, oh, they're making a movie of that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard them say that if a product has anything, any sort of recognizable quality, means that they would be more likely to make a movie or a television show from it.
Yeah, it's a
than
proven commodity.
right?
Yeah.
A proven commodity, right?
Did Bob's ever do a 2-parter? Why do I feel like there was a 2-parter?
Yeah. Yeah, there was one with the
Was it the Christmas?
Wonder Wharf. There was a Wonder Wharf episode that had
yeah.
a 2-parter, and I feel like maybe the Christmas.
Because I remember that feeling like that was weird, because you never get 2-parters now.
Yes, yeah,
And I was like, oh.
yeah, and I don't know when this will air, but next year we will have in December, Christmas. I think there'll be an hour-long Bob's.
Oh, okay.
With a musical element and whatever, but I think that'll be a first.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll play at one time. No one really discussed
Could
that
be a
part of it,
2-parter, but it might not be.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
I feel like it won't be a 2-parter. I feel like it will be a 1-hour Bob's Burgers. Like that. I think
I'd
that's how
believe it. I'd believe
good,
it.
yeah.
I do appreciate how much that show does things like 2-parters and sort of classic. Always does holiday episodes.
Yes.
Like goes out of its way to do holiday episodes.
Yeah,
which is always
it's
nice.
really funny. It's really funny that we record those episodes, and you'll post something on social media, and people won't really understand that it's about a year.
Oh,
from
yeah.
the time that where
People have
we
to
do a
draw
recording. Yeah. Oh, that would be the first part that
Yeah.
I don't think that the average person understands is it's a teleplay.
Yeah.
We start with a play. It's a radio play, and then it's animated.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people think that
You go in
doesn't
later
work
and
that
just
way.
improv the
well,
words.
I'm sure
to
they
the
give
mouth.
it no thought at all,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that, but a lot of people definitely believe that like.
Wait a minute, those are fake characters, and you're doing their voice. You're
Hold
like a
up.
voice stunt man.
Hold up a second. You're like a voice. Wait a second. That's right. I'm a voice stuntman.
You know what I just pictured is if a character in a cartoon has a stunt,
Yep.
the person has to draw them slightly differently because they're actually drawing a different character doing the stunt. Like, no, that's a stunt.
It's a different.
It's a union
guy.
thing.
It's a different guy being thrown through the window.
You freeze frame, it's actually a guy in a wig.
You'll see he's about 30 pounds lighter.
Yep. That's why I don't run a show, because that's the kind of thing I'd waste time on. Yeah, I would absolutely watch that. And then at 9:30, I got to go Facts of Life.
Well, you're jumping different strokes.
I am.
And I'm watching, but 8:30. That Facts of Life's not on until 9:30.
That's right. I would watch Different Strokes, but I'm ashamed.
You're gonna watch all those. I'm gonna watch Different Strokes, and then I'm gonna watch Facts of Life.
This is a boring Different Strokes. It's about Arnold having cavities, which was the same season that Arnold got molested by Jordan.
What you talking about,
Gordon
dentist?
Jones. Yeah, talking about dentist. Here's some candy. Facts of Life this night is a boy's lies about his date with, of all people, Natalie, has her reputation in shreds and the phone ringing off the hook with eager offers from other boys.
Really?
Yep.
Wait, how far into that show are we when they're
Season
giving?
3.
I'm surprised to hear that.
Yep. Well, the next season,
I'm tuning in to watch Joe.
yeah, they brought Joe in season 2
Okay.
after they ditched Molly Ringwald and all the others.
I couldn't say I remember any of that.
Yep. There was
I
when
just
it
remember
was
Joe.
set in the school. All the girls got in trouble and had to live with Mrs. Garrett. That was season 2, and then they brought in Joe as the Brooklyn.
Was she supposed to be from
supposed to be
Brooklyn?
from Brooklyn.
She
Yeah,
was?
Yeah. And you know who played her dad?
Didn't she have a bike?
You got
and,
a bike.
She had a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And,
I'm working on my bike.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
right. How's about I punch your face?
Yep, she was
something
tough.
like that. Is
She
that
was
what
a real
she said?
Pinky
Is that what she
Tuscadero.
used to say?
Yep. And her dad was played by Alex Rocco, Boston actor Alex Rocco, who was in the Winter Hill Gang, and then moved out to California. And he was supposed to be her dad from Brooklyn, but just had the most old man Boston accent ever. He's from
Really?
Somerville, but people don't know. And as a kid, it used to bother me because I'm like, that's not Brooklyn.
Right. You would recognize the
Yeah,
Somerville
Joe.
accent.
Oh, geez, Joe.
Oh, geez,
Did you ever
Joe.
forgive me? It was that kind of thing. Yeah, because he was always in and out of jail on the show. But in the season after this,
Wait a second. That guy went to jail, got out, moved to Hollywood, and then got successful and was in a television show?
oh, many times. Yeah,
It's amazing.
He played Mo Green in The Godfather. Yeah,
That's Mo Green?
yeah, he's from Somerville, Mass.
He just recently passed away,
just
didn't
recently
he?
passed away. Yeah,
Wow.
He was in the famous Teddy Z. He was in Friends of Eddie Coyle. He's in.
He's an incredible actor.
He
Wow.
played Joe's dad.
That's I do remember that now.
Yeah.
I just never put it together that the same guy who's saying, and you guys don't have the muscle anymore. I never
Yeah.
even put it together that that's a Boston
Oh yeah.
accent that he has. And the Corleones don't have that muscle,
Yeah.
don't
Made my
have
bones-
muscle
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, that's Joe's dad.
What are we supposed to do? He's banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time.
Yep, Alex Rocco.
Hey, listen, every once in a while I got to kick asses to get things to run right.
His first job in Hollywood, he actually, speaking of In Search Of, he moved out there because
Yeah.
someone knew Leonard Nimoy from The Old Neighborhood and was like, go out and take Nimoy's acting class. Nimoy will hook you up.
That's incredible.
'Cause
I never heard
Nimoy-
that
yeah.
story.
And his first job was on the Batman 66 show. He played a thug on Batman 66, but Nimoy was why he went out to Hollywood. There's too much heat here. Running
Yeah.
numbers.
Go out, you
Yeah.
know. Hey, go out to California, get some sun, enjoy yourself.
Go out to the coast. Why don't you go out to the coast
As
and
you go out to the coast.
get out of the heat to get
Get,
into the heat?
get away from the heat.
But the season after
And keep a low profile,
low profile.
by being on TV.
Get on Batman. The season after this, there was an
It
episode.
says here
where-
you were an actual thug.
Can you play that?
Can you play?
Sure, I can. He actually, that's kind of how he got in that role. Actually,
He did?
He has this amazing story where he was working as
You
a,
didn't meet him, did you?
No.
Okay.
He was working as a bouncer at
Yeah.
this nightclub, and another guy who worked as a bouncer there was an actor too, and he
Yeah.
would get calls for jobs at work because he didn't have a cell phone. You know, they'd be like,
Sure.
need a stuntman or whatever. So one night the guy gets a call and Rocco answers, and the guy's there, but he's like, he's not sick. sick. Well, he's sick. He's not here. What do you need? And they're like, well, we have an actor party. He's like, I'm an actor. Never acted in his life. And they're like, okay, what have you been in? And he names all these shows that Biograph Studios produced in New York because he knew that Biograph had recently burned down. So he's like, there's no way they could check it out. So they're like, all right, come down this day and you'll be a part. And it was the Batman show. So we went down that day and it just, it was like a stuntman, basically, thug, didn't have any lines or anything. He's one of Mr. Freeze's guys. And,
wow, if that's not a true story, it's still a great story.
Yeah. I believe it. Showing his general demeanor, I imagine. Right. But he won an Emmy for Famous Teddy Z.
Wow.
Yeah, a year after the show had been canceled.
Really?
Yeah. He won an Emmy and everyone was surprised.
He was great in anything to do with The Godfather. That's pretty.
Oh yeah, and
amazing.
I love Friends of Eddie Coyle. It's great. And
Friends of Eddie Coyle is so
Freebie
good.
and the Bean.
Have we talked about that?
No.
Friends of Eddie Coyle.
Oh, I love that movie.
Friends of Eddie Coyle is great because they were doing something where it was Well, first off, I like Robert.
Everyone loves Robert Mitchum.
Everyone loves Robert Mitchum, and everyone loves how he's pretty much. He's so done with it by the time they put him in that. And also the director of this movie, Friends of Eddie Coyle, they were doing a real thing where it was just basically like, 2 takes, got it.
Yeah.
And so what you get is real gritty.
It's like a documentary almost.
It's not, you're not getting what you get in a movie since they're not giving it a lot of opportunities. And it's also based on a great book by...
I forget the guy's name.
I want to say it's not Jim
initials.
Thompson.
No, it's a very Jim Thompson type book. Yeah,
it's initials. You're
initials,
right. It's
Hinton.
It's
not S.E. Hinton. It's but it's something like that.
Shit.
Yeah. Someone will.
Anyway, it's great, and it's all like local.
Yeah,
real
it's
local.
The most gritty. It was shot the same year as Charlie.
Yeah,
and
he
Boston.
looks down at Bobby Orr.
Yes,
Bobby Orr and. Come on, 1970s Bobby Orr's in there. He's like, look at that kid. Look at that boozy. He gets like a boozy, like, look at that kid. I love being all sound like this kid.
You ever seen the SNL Robert Mitchum hosted in 1985?
No.
There's a sketch with him and Phil Hartman in their masculine heterosexual hairdressers is the name of the sketch. And it's him and Robert Mitchum and their hairdresser. He's like, oh yeah, we can do a cut and color. And that's the whole sketch.
That's
just
the whole joke?
Being like masculine heterosexual. Right. But it's so weird that it's Robert Mitchum.
It is.
And he's all in. He's all in on it. It's really weird.
He does some, there's a great Robert Mitchum on Cavett. Have you ever seen that?
Yes. It's a 2-parter.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
And he still has a little bit of that hep cat thing going for him where like it's like he's
got
missing
like a weird
some of
Dean
the
Martin,
words.
Bing Crosby-ish kind of
he's got
thing.
some Dean Martin like what's it called? He's like when he tells the story he's like and then he got up and then I sat him down.
Yeah.
Like some kind of like.
But then he's
what?
gonna go.
He's like, and he wanted to say, he wanted to say something, and I made sure that he didn't say anything else.
His
Like,
jaws
he's like
on
talking
crooked.
about talking about beating someone within an inch of
He
their
was
life.
a big dude. Like those guys were like he
went to jail for real, right?
Yeah.
Or was that just for marijuana law?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
It was marijuana, but it was right around the time that he did Cape Fear.
Yes, right. And he did Night of the Hunter.
Oh yeah, where
right?
he's got the knuckle tattoos.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
endlessly
Robert
great.
Mitchum. Just do a Robert Mitchum night, everybody.
Yeah,
sit down to Robert Mitchum night.
I just want to find a reason to do Robert Mitchum in some sort of cartoon.
There's a pilot here.
Yeah.
On that Christmas episode, I want a musical Bob's Burgers with a Robert Mitchum character.
A Robert Mitchum character.
Just voice a kid.
Find a reason to put in angry.
Robert Mitchum and everything.
And angry.
Hey, all these
Robert
characters can't
Mitchum.
sound like Robert Mitchum.
Why not?
Why can't they?
Why not?
Thursday night, 8 o'clock. Did you go with Magnum?
Well, again, I was just trying to channel my 8-year-old self, and I'm not going to miss out on Mork and Mindy. I mean, now I would have watched Magnum and his helicopter and TC and the whole gang. Is it TC?
TC, yeah.
Yeah, I would have watched that. But really, if it was seriously 8-year-old me or whatever, I would have watched Mork and Mindy.
I think that would have been the right choice because this Mork and Mindy is don't miss the most orc-shattering event ever seen on television. Tonight, Mork pops the question. Next week, Mork and Mindy march down the aisle.
Wait, what's the question?
What's your name? You didn't ask her. It's 4 seasons in, you didn't know.
Oh, by the way, what's your name?
Yeah, because then they had him have the kid the next season, which was Jonathan Winters. They got married to Jonathan
okay.
Winters.
Oh, so Jonathan Winters wasn't from his home planet.
No,
Jonathan
he's their
Winters was his child.
Because on Orc, children age backwards.
Yes.
So they're born as...
Right.
Which they never really
right. They
expressed
never
how painful that would be of a birth.
Wait, but didn't he come from an egg or something?
Yeah, but still, it's a big egg.
That is a big egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Why
think-
did she walk around pregnant at any point?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they had a season with her pregnant.
Absolutely no sense.
No, I don't think anyone questioned it at the time. They were doing a lot of coke. So I think that's the right way to go.
But the best show, 8:30. I don't think I had anything for 8:30. That's one of the spots that was a weak spot for me.
There's only 4 choices here.
Flip around.
Best of the West show I didn't like.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was Andy Griffith and the dad from Silver Spoons, Joel Higgins, and it was in an Old West, and it was a sitcom. And
Yeah, that can't imagine wasn't
yeah,
it?
there's a movie called The Uninvited with Ray Milland, which is a horror movie from the 40s, which I like, and a pilot that they're burning off for a drama that did not get picked up, but they're showing the pilot. They don't say what it's called. They just say pilot. This is a flyer's alcoholism jeopardizes his career and marriage.
Wait, what?
It's a pilot for a TV show.
It's a pilot about a pilot?
But an alcoholic pilot.
When you say alcoholic pilot, all I can think of is, did you ever see the movie Conquered 77, I think
Yes,
it is?
yes.
And who did you mention there? What's his name?
Ray Milland?
No, who's the Dino.
Dino. Yeah, Dean Martin. Yeah.
Dean Martin. I think that's Conquered 77.
I believe it.
Okay. Find it. I don't think it's a great movie, but there is a scene in that, and I forget even how I saw this. Maybe it was on TV, but whatever it was, I kept watching it over and over again because he is clearly inebriated, but it's like I've never seen in a movie.
Yeah,
where it ended up in the movie. But what he does is he lurches forward enough that he goes out of focus. So he's standing outside the airport and he's like, "No, we can't fly that plane." Leans forward and he goes fuzzy, and you're just like, "Well, did that just happen in a real movie?" Like they got back in an editing bay and they were like, "Oh, no, he cut it off. He went back to his trailer, and then he never came out of his trailer, so this is all we have for that day." But I'm like, I've heard it said that he didn't drink.
Yeah,
but
it was always iced tea.
It's always iced tea, but I'm like, at that point in that movie, I've never seen that in a movie where I picked up on that.
That's some evidence.
It's pretty bad when you pick up on the idea that, like, you watched something and you were like, whoa, that person looks drunk.
Yeah.
And you don't see that very often. Not in a movie.
I did an episode, I forget who it was. It might have been Carl Gottlieb told me this story, but there's
no way I'm flying on that plane.
On a plane. They were shooting, I think it was not Route 66, but it was one of those police shows in the 60s.
Yeah.
And the main actor was a huge drunk, hammered. So they would shoot all of the scenes they needed to be sober for first. And then at the end of the day, they'd shoot all his stuff with, he had the police radio in front of his mouth doing a thing, and then they'd dub it later because he was hammered. But one day, he was so drunk that he couldn't get up. So they built a set on the floor that looked like he was leaning on a file cabinet. But he was actually down on the floor, and then they tilted the camera. So he's doing all his lines basically passed out.
If you ever came home from work that day and said that happened at work, would anyone believe you?
No, and I'm
that you're
sure
like,
it happened.
We built a set so that he could lay down because he was not able to get up today.
They're like, we got to get this shot.
Yeah, we got to get it done. We're losing light, and also he's drunk.
He's just leaning on a file cabinet. He's not passed out on the floor. Perfect. They were very accommodating back then. So you go with that. 8:30, nothing. 9 o'clock. Would you go with?
Bosom Buddies.
I love Bosom Buddies.
Yeah, it's great.
Love them. Tom Hanks.
Hey.
Yep.
Tom Hanks, right? Yay.
Donna Dixon, aka Mrs. Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
And Peter Scolari, and it was really made to be Peter Scolari's show, and Tom Hanks became the big star.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Show.
That's so weird that was the case because they both seem equally funny and
it's a great show. Only
and you're right.
seasons.
It is. He does the intro, doesn't he?
It's his show.
That's him talking over where they, park themselves in a parking me spot. Yeah. There's a lot of fun. A lot of fun things even an 8-year-old can appreciate with like these guys sunbathing in a parking spot.
Wacky
That's
craziness.
crazy.
These guys have so much fun all the
These
time.
guys, I want a friend like that.
Yeah, I had Julia Duffy on the show from Newhart, and
Yeah.
she was saying that when they added Peter Scolari to the cast, which was in season 3
Yeah.
or season 2, at the first table read, he shows up and he sits down, and Bob Newhart turns to the producer and says loud so everyone can hear, "I wanted the other guy from Bosom Buddies."
Wait,
just
what?
to mess with Scolari.
Oh, that's so
He was just
funny.
kidding with him.
Wait, what was the table read for?
Newhart. So
That's
Scolari
so
just joined the
funny.
cast, and he says
Oh,
that
that's
to mess
so
with
funny.
him, and he was like, "Oh no!" And he's like, "I'm just kidding with you."
That's so great.
Yeah. Oh, Bob Newhart. He's meow. And 9:30. Did you go with Taxi?
He's never not funny. He's always
He makes
funny.
me
The
laugh
funniest,
all the time.
yeah.
I
Great.
love him so
Great.
much.
Yeah.
The Newhart's one of my favorite shows. Taxi's really your only choice at
And Taxi
9:30.
was my choice.
This is a
I
great
can't
one.
say I remember watching a ton of Taxi, but I remember.
It seemed old for me. Like it seemed depressing and too old for me.
Yeah, maybe I just probably maybe it was
Yeah.
too old and you had to be knowledgeable. But there's something. It's for me. It's a really like. I'm sure the bulk of it happens in the 80s, but for me, it's a real 70s show with the fact that Judd Hirsch wore those sweaters.
Yes.
And Danny DeVito yelled at people.
A lot of bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Jeff Conaway, huge bell bottoms.
Yeah, and Andy Kaufman.
Yep.
Is in there, but it's funny. None of that resonates with me. His stand-up might have resonated with me, but
I hate him on Taxi.
Him on Taxi. I don't remember even caring about that.
He's what I
part
liked when
at
I was
all.
a kid, because it was silly.
Yeah.
But when I watch it now, it gets in the way of the stuff that I like.
Right? Was he? Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Because it's
not,
like it's a show about the thing I love about that show is it's
the
a
best
show,
thing is Jim.
Jim's great, and it's a show about people who are doing a job that this isn't my real job. They
That's
all have
right.
aspirations. They're
Yes.
a boxer, they're an actor, they're a writer.
Everyone wants to
they're
be
all
something.
something
Yeah,
else.
and
it's the first show I can think of that had that aspect
Yeah.
to it, where they're
Yeah.
just sad people who aren't doing what they want to be doing.
Right.
And it's a great weird concept to have that as a thing.
It feels really timely to the times too. Like
Yeah.
there's a real malaise kind of thing going on.
And it's got that dirty, scary New York.
Yes.
Even though it's not shot there, but it still has
Yep.
that vibe of like a grimy, like you're going to get murdered by the son of Sam.
Yeah.
At any moment,
Yep,
kind
that
of
can
New York.
happen.
And Tony playing Tony. That's just Tony playing Tony.
Right. Yeah.
Tony. And Friday night, final night of the week.
Oh, okay. Come on, 60 minutes of Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. Every week we hear
So
Incredible
great.
Hulk guy.
Yes. Every single week. Every single week. Saddest ending.
Yeah.
Come on. Bum, 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 bum.
This episode
And I
is-
also used to love that every single time he would act like I feel like maybe it's just me misremembering it, but how he would be like, I'm sorry, mister, what's your name? And he would always, I don't know, find his last name. And I'm like,
Yeah.
buddy, just
Stick with one.
the idea that you're going to come up with a fake name and don't be like David
microphone.
David Bundleman.
Yes.
Dun.
David
Bundle.
Hitchhiker Truck.
I'm sorry, what was it again? What did I say? Hitchhiker truck.
Hulk?
Yes, truck.
My name's
David
Hulk.
Truck.
Yeah. This episode, first of all, the ad goes out of its way to tell you what makes him Hulk out. That's the ad. It goes, Rampage, Incredible Hulk, a rock slide, and a tear gas attack. Bring out the Hulk's fury, the way you like 'em best.
Oh my God. By then they know what you
Yeah.
like, which
David is taken
Yeah.
hostage by 3 female escaped convicts. Gets better, one of whom is about to give birth.
wow. That's pretty good.
My favorite thing...
But also, I think I already had an affinity for Bill Bixby because I feel like I watched a lot of Courtship of Eddie's Father, and I feel
Mr.
like I was
Eddie's father.
Oh, that was a really offensive thing you just did,
yeah.
even though it was accurate.
It was accurate.
Completely accurate
Yep.
and completely offensive.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Ken.
Yeah.
The that friendship of Eddie's father.
With
What's
Brent-
the story? Was he supposed to be a widower?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we had this very offensive Asian stereotype housekeeper.
Yes.
And Eddie played by Brendan Cruz, and Brendan Cruz became a punk rocker and had a
No
band called
way.
Dr. No, and now the band The Dead Kennedys, when
Yeah.
they tour, he's their singer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so if you go see the Dead Kennedys, it's Eddie from The Courtship of Eddie's Father singing.
That's so crazy. And what year was that on?
75 to 79, I think.
I feel like I saw plenty of that, and I think that I had a real soft spot for Bill Bixby.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice guy.
Bill Bixby is in the pantheon of like great fathers, like Mr. Rogers. Like this guy's the greatest.
But before Courtship of Eddie's Father, he was in movies as the villain. Like he's the villain in Viva Las Vegas. He's a bad guy? He's the bad guy who's trying to stick it to Elvis, and he's like an evil race car driver who's trying to steal Anne Margaret.
I can't even imagine that.
And
I can't even imagine him as a bad guy.
He starred in a movie as Houdini, and he spent 2 years learning how to do all Houdini's tricks. So he had full stage magician powers as well.
Really?
Bill Bixby, yeah.
Seems completely, entirely unnecessary.
It is totally
considering
unnecessary.
that everyone knows they use a stunt magician.
Yeah, they use a stunt magician.
Use a stunt magician.
I haven't talked about it on the show in a long time, and I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to bring it up.
Yeah.
But somebody, some saint, took every episode of the Hulk and wrote down everything that causes him to Hulk out in every episode. For real.
Wait, where is it?
It's called the Hulk Out List.
Yes.
And Ken Johnson, who created the show, has it on his website. And it is the funniest thing I've ever read, because it's literally like boulder falls on him, does not have enough change for a phone call, falls off a rock, is thrown into a garbage truck by terrorists. It's everything.
I definitely feel like I remember him not having enough change.
No one has 25 cents.
And then it would go in his eyes, and then it would go push it. Camera pushes in on his eyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have enough change for a phone call. Yeah, the Hulk Out List is infinitely amusing, and it's every episode, everything that causes the Hulk out.
It's so great.
Yeah, it's a public service this person did.
But it always ended sadly, and again, it's definitely in the realm of a show that I was allowed to watch too early, because people just again assumed like same thing with like it's dinosaurs, it's comic books. Yeah. How bad can it be?
Yeah,
but way too much emotion going on in that show. Yeah,
he's a sad character. And
completely.
Did I ever tell you the story of my second birthday with the Hulk?
No.
So I watched the show, terrified of the Hulk, but I watched because I love the comics. My second birthday, my parents somehow misinterpreted me being terrified of the show as me loving the Hulk himself. So they paid my uncle's friend, who was a bodybuilder, to paint himself green and surprise me at my birthday party by busting through the door.
Oh my God. How old were you?
2.
Wait, you were 2 years old?
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. I remember being so terrified. The Hulk busted through the door, and I freaked out, and I hid under the bed. I was like completely petrified, never been more scared in my life. And my parents were like, "What the hell? We did a cool thing. We didn't like it." Yeah. Yep. Don't do that to your kids. Don't pay someone to dress up like Uncle Grandpa.
I almost feel like this is the whole reason that I'm here, is to hear you tell me. That's supposed to be my takeaway, where I'm like, I walk out of here and I'm like, Ken makes a good point. You know what? I'm going to rethink his birthday party's coming up, and I think I'm going to rethink the whole entire thing. Here I had
thought he loved the Kool-Aid,
guys from Game of Thrones and kind of do a red wedding thing at our birthday party. I'm going to lose that. I'm not going to do that.
He really loves Back to the Future, so I was going to have Iranian terrorists come in and shoot him.
I'm trying to think of what the equivalent would be.
He loves the movie The Vanishing,
like,
so I was going to kidnap him and bury him alive for 3 days.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I won't do that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. A lot of green paint. 9 o'clock, did you go with Dukes again?
Do you know what's funny is I was really torn. This one was torn because I feel like at the time, I feel like almost Friday night you could guarantee that I watched this. So in other words, I definitely watched this Incredible Hulk. There's no reason to believe I didn't.
Right.
And I feel like I watched Killer Fish.
Killer Fish, this is the first time on TV. Lured by sunken treasure, hunted by killer fish. Starring Lee Majors and Karen Black. Man-eating piranhas prevent emerald thieves from recovering hidden loot.
Again, a lot of story there, but first off, just the fact that Steve Austin, $6 Million Man, is in a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, I haven't spent enough time with this guy. I'm going to watch that show.
You got to. He's fighting piranhas.
I'm going to watch that show. And also, there's something about the killer fish. I vaguely remember the killer fish, and they're just probably rubber fish, but that's the sweet spot for like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, for like, wait a second, You telling me these fish will eat flesh?
They're killing people, killing fish, or other fish? No, real killing fish.
Wait a second. You're telling me that this shit's real?
Are those stunt fish? Do they really eat people, or they eat stunt people?
No, it's real. They're from South America. They're called piranha,
Shot in
and
Brazil.
they're super dangerous.
There's a guy named Joseph Zito who's a director. He made Red Scorpion, the movie with Dolph Lundgren, shot in South Africa.
Okay, yeah.
But he made this movie called The Prowler, and it's a horror movie, and there's murders and stuff in it. And he tells this story where he goes, I went and saw it on 42nd Street. I told the guy at the front door that I made this movie so I didn't have to pay. Let me in. I'm the director. And he was like a security guard guy, because they had those at 42nd Street. And the security guard watches the movie, and he comes up to him after, and he goes, sincerely goes, "Did you really kill all them people in that movie?" And he's like, "What?" He goes, No, it was special effects. Like, I know you really killed those people. He really thought that they killed the people in the movie.
This is as close as you're going to get to, like, De Niro in Taxi
Pretty
Driver.
much, yeah.
Where you're like, oh, boy.
I gotta go. I'll see you later. Yeah, Killer Fish. Absolutely, that is the thing to watch. I think that you made
I watched Killer Fish, and then what was and if I had watched Dukes of Hazzard, what is Ben Wattenberg at Large at 9:30?
Ben
sounded
Wattenberg
pretty good.
At Large
Sounded pretty good.
Is a documentary.
Yes.
Host Ben Wattenberg points to signs of a new prosperity in the Northeast as he tours Massachusetts cities where abandoned mills have been converted into high-tech factories.
Come on, that is an incredible documentary.
Yep.
Where a bunch of guys are like, I would like to see this documentary, because it would be like, before I was just punching sheet metal, and now I'm making, this stuff's going to be part of, these are going to be some kind of phone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be a person involved in the technology end of something who used to do something technical before, something
I used to
industrial
polish.
before.
I was a metal polisher and a ball bearing specialist, and now I'm making artificial hearts for monkeys so that they can tend bar non-stop.
He only has to have he needs to have a vague idea of what happens to it. So so I'm still doing polishing or something like that, and they tell me that these are going to be hearts on monkeys. I don't know.
I think so. I got to polish them like extra polish, because apparently these go into space for some reason. I don't know if they're like Tang dispensers or like looking for green women or something, but I don't know. Whatever they tell me, it's like 21st century kind of stuff.
Hearts for monkeys.
Hearts for monkeys. Someday I hope to polish a part of Steve Austin. Just not that part, I don't do that.
No thanks, guys.
You
no
didn't
thanks.
put that in the rules.
No thanks. Hey, do me a favor. Will you take that off of the tape? I don't like that at all.
No,
I don't
want my kids hearing me talk like that. It's not good. It's not good. There's the weird thing. I think they split their audience here because it's up against another show called The State We're In. That's an examination of the impact of recent fires in Holyoke, Mass.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, what do you watch? What do you watch?
Let's see.
What do you watch?
Factories being high-tech or factories burning down? I don't know. What a fun night in Massachusetts.
That's a Friday night of choices.
Yep. Oh, this factory burned down. Well, at the sound of the dog bark, Larry, that means we're out of time.
Right on.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, this was super fun. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ken.
Oh, baby, I see you in my TV set, yeah, baby, I see you in my TV set. I cut your head off and put it in my TV set.
I didn't lie to you. It was very fun. Larry's great. You got a little bit of a Teddy cameo in there too for you Bob's Burgers fans. Larry is the absolute best. As I said, very few people in this world make me laugh as much as Larry Murphy does. And I love that I have this forever digitally archived so that I can listen to it when I am old and no longer able to communicate with the outside world. I can just live in this happiest memory, brain candy style. If you would like to email me, you can email me at tvguidancecounselor@gmail.com or at ken@icanread.com. icanread.com, of course, being my stand-up comedy page, as I am also a stand-up comedian. You can also see my live dates there, any live stand-up shows I am doing or any live TV guidance counselor podcasts we're doing. Hopefully doing some more conventions as we get into the fall here and approach convention season. Hopefully doing some more Q&As or live TV guidance counselors. We'll see. I don't know, but when I know, you will know because I will post them there. You can also go to our Facebook page, just search TV Guidance Counselor, or you can tweet to me at TV Guidance or at Kenneth W. Reed. Love hearing from you guys. If you like the show, please subscribe on iTunes or Google Play, wherever you get the show. It is a huge help to getting the word out there. If you have a couple seconds and you want to give us a star rating or write a review, it will be greatly appreciated, but obviously is not required as the show is free. I don't check what you do every day. I'm not your mother. All right? So back off. But then back on next Wednesday, because we'll have a new episode, and I hope to see you then for TV Guidance Counselor.
I got the grandchildren covered because I got them the chairs.
Get it?